Chapter 473. Wang Feng's soul power undulations weren't high. He was only at rank 49. He wasn't even comparable to a 10,000-year soul beast. However, his aura was far stronger than what a soul beast of his rank should have. The Ice Kira roared. "You want me to submit to a human? Are you kidding me? Only a despicable crocodile with no integrity and dignity would make such a choice." It was an Ice Kira with an ancient bloodline. It would never submit to a human. Right at this moment, Wang Feng shouted in a low voice. Emptiness. In an instant, in Wang Feng's perception, it was as if everything had stopped. The Ice Kira wasn't fast to begin with. In Wang Feng's eyes, it was as if a camera had stopped it. Spirit severing. Wang Feng took a deep breath. This was his first time using the soul-slaying spear to execute the wind-lightning godly spear. Previously, Wang Feng had used the mysterious underworld spike to execute the wind-lightning godly spear. But now, he was using the god-slaying spear. The spear had changed, and the concept behind it seemed to have changed as well. However, it was still under Wang Feng's control. A gust of wind blew around him, and the pale golden lightning around him fused into the soul-slaying spear. Gold, black, and red. The three colors intertwined. This caused the soul-slaying spear to shine brightly. Not only did it carry the original aura of blood, but it also carried the aura of wind and lightning. The three streaks of air intertwined with the god-slaying spear. In the next moment, he turned into a golden lightning bolt, and the god-slaying spear emitted a terrifying aura as it attacked the Ice Kira. Extremely fast. This was Wang Feng's first time using the god-slaying spear to execute the wind-lightning godly spear in the emptiness. After changing his equipment and increasing his status, it was naturally different. Swish, swish, swish. A golden lightning bolt with a terrifying aura exploded on the Ice Kira's body. Every time it exploded, the ice crystal armor on the Ice Kira's body would shatter. However, the wounds weren't fatal. From afar, the Ice Kira's body was covered by a golden lightning bolt. Countless wounds appeared on its body at a speed visible to the naked eye. They were all wounds caused by the god-slaying spear. However, the Ice Kira didn't seem to move. Only its eyes moved, but its body didn't move at all a few seconds later in Wang Feng's eyes. Wang Feng returned to his original spot. His entire body was steaming hot. The tricolored light of the god-slaying spear crazily intertwined, emitting bursts of mist. Release, Wang Feng muttered under his breath. In an instant, the emptiness realm was lifted. Time seemed to have sped up, and the whistling of the icy wind sounded again. Rumble. Blood spurted out from every wound on the Ice Kira's body. Its huge body swayed in all directions before it fell to the ground with a boom. In the Void Realm, Wang Feng's speed was extremely fast. Of course, this wasn't because time had stopped, but because the difference in speed between the two sides was too great. Just like how the Flash could run around the city in 1 second, in the world where the Flash was running, most people were relatively still. The state of emptiness was similar, but there was an even greater difference. In the emptiness state, his perception would be increased by 10 times. Everything about the other party would be slowed down to the maximum. Any of his movements would be difficult to see in the other party's eyes. The increase in perception meant that his entire body would have super powerful reactions. The emptiness realm was the main reason why Wang Feng had been able to gain the upper hand against the two-titled Dalu. Without the emptiness realm, Wang Feng could only barely resist the two-titled Dalu with his various enhancements. He wouldn't have been able to gain the upper hand at all. Furthermore, he would have been more severely injured. He might not have been able to hold on before the BB Dawn landed. He wouldn't have beaten the two-titled Dalu until they were about to lose their fighting strength. However, the depletion of the emptiness realm was extremely great. Wang Feng couldn't hold on for long, especially when he was in his best state. How long the emptiness realm could last wasn't completely determined by Wang Feng's soul power. Instead, it was determined by Wang Feng's overall abilities and physique. To suppress the Ice Kira as much as possible, Wang Feng activated his third gear and entered the emptiness realm. In order not to hurt the other party, Wang Feng didn't hit the Ice Kira's fatal spot with his termination god. Otherwise, the Ice Kira might have died. As the Ice Kira fell to the ground, countless cracks appeared on the icy ground. The violent snow crocodile at the back had its mouth wide open as it watched in disbelief. What just happened? It didn't even see it clearly. The Ice Kira was defeated? Although it knew that Wang Feng's special spear skill was very fast and terrifying, it didn't think that it was possible. However, it couldn't be like this. It didn't see anything at all. It seemed to have barely seen Wang Feng disappear for an instant and return. After that, the Ice Kira's body exploded with blood, and it fell to the ground? Isn't he too strong? The blizzard crocodile broke out in cold sweat. It thought to itself, if Boss Feng treated me like this the first time I met him, wouldn't I have died long ago? No wonder Boss Feng wanted to attack the ice dragon whale. If he had such abilities, it might really be possible. The abilities that Wang Feng had displayed had overturned its crocodile life. The blizzard crocodile silently flew in front of Wang Feng. As it looked at Wang Feng, who was emitting fog, it carefully asked, "Boss Feng, is the Ice Kira dead?" After it finished speaking, it stole a glance at the god-slaying spear. It was so frightened that it quickly turned its eyes away. It was really frightening. The god-slaying spear was an ultimate treasure. Even if it was only formed by a martial soul, even a titled Dalu would be afraid of it. What more, a 60,000-year beast? No. Wang Feng shook his head and exhaled. He walked over and said, "It has temporarily lost its fighting ability." The emptiness realm consumed a lot of energy, although it only lasted for a moment. The blizzard crocodile nodded and walked in front of the Ice Kira. The Ice Kira was too big. Even if it fell to the ground, it was still like a small hill. Violent Snow Crocodile walked a little closer and was shocked. The wounds all over Ice Kira's body were exuding an aura of intertwined black blood. Coupled with the power of wind and thunder, many wounds were covered and twisted into a bloody mess. Although this kind of wound was nothing to the huge Ice Kira, the problem was that there were too many wounds. And from the looks of it, there was no way to heal them. The blizzard crocodile knew that the Ice Kira's bloodline had a super strong self-healing ability. Normally, wounds like these could be healed quickly, but it was useless now. "We don't have time to teach you to speak. You communicate with it." Wang Feng retrieved the god-slaying spear and said, "Tell it that my goal is the ice dragon whale too. When the time comes, it can kill the enemy with its own hands. If it still doesn't submit, blink. If it agrees, blink twice and I will heal it immediately." The blizzard crocodile nodded and roared at the Ice Kira. The Ice Kira was silent. "Brother, don't hesitate. Follow Boss Feng. In the future, you will eat and drink well. You will be happy even when you sleep." The blizzard crocodile said to the Ice Kira. The Ice Kira, Wang Feng. After a long time, the Ice Kira was still silent. End of this chapter. Chapter 474. Wang Feng frowned slightly. This Ice Kira was indeed very strong. If he didn't have the Void Realm, he would have to use a lot of strength even if he used third gear. In terms of vitality, this Ice Kira was stronger than the blizzard crocodile. And this was only 40,000 years ago. In terms of bloodline, this Ice Kira was not inferior to Air Ming. This was because its bloodline had yet to fully awaken. This kind of soul beast had experienced a special encounter since young. Its intelligence was completely different from the fierce blizzard crocodile. Although he had defeated it instantly, Wang Feng wasn't sure if it would submit. If it really didn't submit, Wang Feng had no choice. When Wang Feng was about to give up, he saw the Ice Kira blink its eyes. Seeing this, Wang Feng revealed a smile. The world of soul beasts was actually equally exciting. It was just that it lacked the various new things of the human world. But relatively speaking, it was purer and more realistic. Wang Feng had already seen this clearly from the violent snow crocodile. Now that this Ice Kira was willing to submit, Wang Feng had nothing to say. He directly used the Golden Lotus to heal its injuries. "Boss Feng, I wanted to." The blizzard crocodile stared at Wang Feng and laughed. He had experienced the golden energy of the golden lotus a few times and felt very good. You are not injured, so you are not of much use, Wang Feng said. Also, your body contains the remaining energy of the golden lotus. You haven't finished absorbing it yet. Otherwise, you would have been beaten up by me like this. Can I help you speed up your absorption? Blizzard crocodile. It hurriedly looked into the distance as if it hadn't said anything. Bing Jira's injuries weren't something that could be healed with a simple beating. It looked like he was in a lot of pain. Soon, under the healing of the golden lotus, the ice Kira quickly recovered. However, because of its huge body, it took Wang Feng half an hour to completely heal it. After that, it stood up and roared a few times at Wang Feng. Brother Ice said that he will recognize you as his boss in the future. The Blizzard Crocodile translated, Boss Feng, don't worry. In the future, I will personally ask him to speak human language. With its intelligence that is not inferior to mine, it should be able to learn very quickly. Wang Feng nodded slightly. However, the truth was that the Ice Kira only used half a month to learn to speak human language or communicate with his mind. Compared to the Blizzard Crocodile, it was much faster. Bong Kira's personality was like that of a 17 or 18-year-old boy. Even if he learned how to speak, he still used his consciousness to communicate with Wang Feng. Wang Feng understood Bingji's personality. After all, he was a child who had watched his parents die with his own eyes. He had grown up alone since he was young. If it were him, he would also have the same personality. Moreover, compared to the Blizzard Crocodile, the Ice Kira was more eager to become stronger. Every time it trained with Wang Feng, it was required to beat it until it couldn't move. This was because only then could it speed up the absorption of the Golden Lotus energy and carry out a true evolution to become stronger or activate the bloodline power in its body. It could only be considered to be in its growth stage. About a month later, Wang Feng decided to accept a third follower. Wang Feng's goal was to recruit 3 or 4 people. The stronger, the better. The third target was provided by Ice Kira. Under the ground of the Outer Circle Forest, there are glaciers. There's a very powerful soul beast in the Ice River that's even stronger than me. On this day, Wang Feng and Ice Kira finished their training in the Ice Mountain. Ice Kira said calmly. Its body was huge, and when it spoke, it was also thunderous. Compared to the Blizzard Crocodile's voice, it was more intimidating. Glaciers? The Blizzard Crocodile was also surprised. Brother Ice, are you talking about it? But it rarely appears on the ground. It usually lives under the ice river. Although it's strong, it's very difficult to find it. The Blizzard Crocodile seemed to know something. What is this? I really don't know why Boss Feng accepted a trash crocodile like you. Ice Kira snorted and said proudly, since Boss Feng wants to deal with the ice dragon whale, I naturally have to help it find someone stronger than me. In the Outer Circle Forest, there are only a few who are stronger than me. It barely counts as one. However, it is in the late stage of growth. If I reach its age, I won't be weaker than it. Blizzard Crocodile, I'm not weak, okay? I'm a wind-winged Blizzard Crocodile, an overlord in the Outer Circle Forest. The Blizzard Crocodile let out a long sigh. What is it? Wang Feng asked, what's its name? Glaciers? Wang Feng knew there was a glaciers. When he came to the extreme north, Wang Feng checked the surroundings. However, when he heard Ice Kira say that there was a glaciers under the Outer Circle Forest, he was rather surprised. Ice Kira said, it's called the Dark North King Devil Kuan. Kuan? Wang Feng was surprised. That's right. The Blizzard Crocodile continued. This guy is the overlord of the glaciers. There's actually a glaciers under our forest. Not only does it cover the outer circle, it also includes the inner circle. The water in this glaciers isn't simple. Speaking of this, the Blizzard Crocodile paused and continued. Brother Ice is a landlubber and is very afraid of entering the glaciers. Most of the ice-type soul beasts in the snow forest are afraid of entering the glaciers. Only a rare and powerful tripod soul beast like me can enter the glaciers. However, I don't dare to stay for too long. Wang Feng, Ice Kira, to a certain extent, the Blizzard Crocodile was indeed a tripod soul beast. This dark North King Devil Kuin is the overlord of the glaciers in the outer circle. The blizzard crocodile continued. It is indeed very powerful. All Kuin soul beasts are very powerful, not to mention those with the title of Emperor Devil. With Bosfang's intelligence, you should know from its name that it definitely has an ancient bloodline, and it has more than one. It has both the Dark North King Devil Kuin and the Dark North King Devil Kuin bloodline. In the glaciers, it has the innate pressure of an emperor to countless soul beasts. It is very powerful and has a cultivation of more than 50,000 years. However, it is stronger than 70,000-year soul beasts and is not inferior at all. It is already the strongest overlord in the outer circle and is much stronger than me. If it reaches 90,000 years, it can enter the inner circle and compete with the ice dragon whale for the position of the inner circle 5 overlords. I remember that the ice dragon whale wanted to subdue it before, but it couldn't find its location. Wang Feng nodded slightly. No wonder Ice Kira admitted the strength of this soul beast despite his pride. But it is too difficult to find. Ice Kira shook his head. The size of the glaciers is unimaginable. Even if it is only active in the outer circle, I can't find it. Hearing this, Wang Fengxin's heart skipped a beat. Will there be any special situation where it is? For example, soul power will be rapidly drained near its location? Ice Kira and the blizzard crocodile were startled. Boss Feng, you have seen it before? The blizzard crocodile was surprised. This is one of its unique abilities. As long as you are near it, your soul power will be rapidly drained. It is very terrifying. Wang Feng smiled and said, I know where it is. Let's go and find it. I should be able to write 2 or 3 chapters when I reach home at 9 p.m. Please count the votes. End of chapter. Chapter 475. In fact, when he heard about the Dark North Emperor Devil Kuin, Wang Feng thought of the Ice River. The image of the Ice River was too deep. When Wang Feng found that place, he felt an indescribable sense of strangeness. He even used his skull to sense it, but he didn't find anything. That Ice River was rather big, comparable to some large lakes. However, because it was under the ice, Wang Feng wasn't sure how big it was. However, Wang Feng remembered the special environment very clearly. The man and the 2 beasts chatted as they walked. Wang Feng sat on the Ice Kira's shoulder. It was too big and couldn't shrink for the time being. Although the Ice Kira wasn't good at speed, that was only in battle. In fact, it was very fast, and one big step could cover dozens of meters. As it wasn't in a hurry, Wang Feng wanted to know more, so he stood on its shoulder. The Ice Kira's body was really big. It was 8 meters tall, but its shoulder was still a little spacious. The first time I saw this Dark North Emperor Devil Kuin was 30 years ago. It was making weird sounds then. Using the words you taught me, it was practicing singing and jumping out of the ice river. The blizzard crocodile recalled. I think this is its hobby, right? After that, I saw it a few more times and heard its cries. Every time it jumped out of the ice river, I thought, how can there be such a big soul beast? Hearing this, Wang Feng couldn't help but ask, you soul beasts have hobbies? After he asked, Wang Feng thought, it doesn't seem to be a problem. It's normal for soul beasts to have hobbies. When I left the Great Star Doe Forest, I gave Erming a stick and gave it 2 names. I wonder if Erming likes it. I think he likes it. Of course. I like to stay in the cave. I don't go out, but I occasionally go out to look for food. The blizzard crocodile answered. Wang Feng sized up the blizzard crocodile with a strange expression. TSK, I didn't expect it to be in Odonisuchus. It must have been caught that day when it came out to look for food. I guess Brother Bing's hobbies are fighting and cultivation. The blizzard crocodile flew in midair with its head facing the Ice Kira. Wang Feng nodded. That was indeed the case. Ice Kira was training almost all the time. Compared to when Wang Feng first obtained the meteoric tear, he was even more hardworking. He really didn't know how the meteoric tear had come about all these years. It was no wonder that he was able to force the blizzard crocodile to flee with his 40,000 years of cultivation. Of course, this was partly due to their bloodline, but it was inseparable from Ice Kira's hard work in cultivation. Ice Kira didn't say anything, which could be considered as a tacit agreement. Soon, Wang Feng and the other two arrived at the ice river. As soon as they arrived, the ice Kira and the blizzard crocodile stared at each other. His eyes were clearly saying, "That's right, this place is indeed the special aura that the Dark North Lord Devil Kuan can create." Even they could clearly feel their soul force rapidly depleting. Other than the Dark North Emperor Kraken, there was probably no other soul beast in the forest that possessed such a powerful ability. A normal soul cultivator would have thought that this was a naturally formed terrain. "Boss Feng, how do we get it out?" The blizzard crocodile looked at the surface of the ice river. The surface of the ice was at least 4 to 5 meters thick. An ordinary 10,000-year soul beast might not be able to break through it. The surface of the ice was light blue and incomparably hard. Wang Feng muttered to himself for a moment and looked at the sky. He had two methods. This ice river was relatively large, and he didn't know how deep it was. He also didn't know the exact location of the Dark North Lord Devil Kuan. However, if he could use the second style of the absolute god of wind and lightning, he could draw upon the power of thunder and lightning. In addition to his own spear concept, he could break through the ice river and let the power of wind and lightning enter the icy water below the ice river. He would definitely be able to cause great damage to the soul beast under the ice river. This would awaken the Dark North Lord Devil Kuan. The might of the absolute god of wind and lightning was extremely terrifying. This method was definitely worth a try. Thinking like this, Wang Feng told the other two of his methods and decided to wait for the weather. About 5 days later, a thundercloud appeared. Wang Feng and the two of them discussed for a while. When the thunderclouds were at their densest, Odontosuchus, use your hurricane with all your strength later. Shunbing, break the ice layer in the center later. Wang Feng said in a deep voice. The two soul beasts nodded. According to their personalities and hobbies, Wang Feng gave them names, Odontosuchus and Shunbing, which were easy to remember. According to Wang Feng's estimation, the Dark North Lord Devil Kuan should be hibernating and cultivating here. This kind of soul beast would normally conceal its aura when cultivating, making it difficult for others to detect. In addition, it could automatically absorb the soul power of living beings within its domain. It could be said that it was very difficult to find a solution. If one didn't understand this characteristic, it would be very difficult to find it. Even if one found it, it would be very difficult to awaken it. The man and the two soul beasts were very far apart, standing in a triangle. Thunderclouds rolled in the sky. Wang Feng entered the third form again. His body flickered with golden light, and black and red energies intertwined. At this time, the blizzard crocodile's slightly pale golden wings suddenly attacked Wang Feng's position. 2 hurricanes were formed, and these hurricanes were almost solid, forming 2 currents that included Wang Feng. The second style of the absolute god of wind and lightning required Wang Feng to use extremely powerful hurricanes and heavenly thunder to form the true power of wind and lightning. It was also because of the blizzard crocodile's hurricanes that Wang Feng had comprehended this move. On the other side, the ice Kira was carefully watching. It needed to cooperate with Wang Feng, and when Wang Feng drew upon the wind and thunder of heaven and earth, it would break through the ice so that the power of this move would fuse into the bottom of the river. At this moment, Wang Feng raised his head and looked at the thunderclouds in the sky. He spread his blood wings and rose into the clouds. The hurricanes formed a strong current that followed him. Wang Feng used his soul power to drive this hurricane, turning it into a tornado that revolved around his body, condensing an even more terrifying wind in the clouds. Holding the god-slaying spear, he formed the mysterious underworld spike into a tall lightning rod, standing on the tip of the god-slaying spear to receive the heavenly thunder to the greatest extent. Boom! The deep purple lightning bolts crashed down towards Wang Feng's lightning rod formed by the mysterious dark spike. The mysterious underworld spike had an extremely strong conductive effect, and it could completely guide the power of the heavenly thunder to the god-slaying spear. The heavenly thunder that was as thick as a water bucket made the two soul beasts feel a little afraid. Today's heavenly thunder was especially strong. Sentient life forms had an instinctive fear of such heavenly thunder. This heavenly thunder wasn't the lightning of Wang Feng's divine soul skill. Its power was many times stronger. It was the true power of heaven and earth. The wind thunder absolute god spear that Wang Feng had created in itself borrowed the power of heaven and earth to form a huge attack. In terms of the grade of this move, it had already surpassed many soul skills in the Douluo continent. The lightning bolt that was as thick as a water bucket struck Wang Feng's body directly. From afar, he couldn't be seen at all. Wang Feng's expression didn't change. The aura around his body was strengthened by the power of heaven and earth, wind and lightning. The aura of absolute terror filled the entire ice river. Heaven and earth, wind and lightning. Wang Feng closed his eyes. Purple lightning intertwined with the god-slaying spear, faintly reflecting the blood-red and black colors of the spear body, forming an airflow that resembled 3 huge dragons. Right at this moment, Bingji roared furiously, and its feet shook the ground. Intense soul power undulations formed gusts of wild wind, and the layer of ice in the middle of the ice river suddenly exploded. The layer of ice that was several meters thick instantly shattered into pieces. It formed a huge circular hole. Brother Bing, retreat. The violent snow crocodile roared at Bingji. Wang Feng's move was extremely powerful. If the two of them were hit by it, they would die. Even the aftershocks would injure the two soul beasts. Since they had already helped, they naturally had to retreat. Bingji nodded and dragged its huge body away from the ice river. It retreated until it was 1,000 meters away. From afar, it looked at Wang Feng, who was shining like a star. In a chapter 476. What a powerful force. Is this Boss Feng's self-created secret art? Ice Kira watched from afar as thoughts ran through its mind. Can I create a similar secret art? I'm Ice Kira. I'm born with the power to control earth and ice. I can do it. Too powerful. This move is many times stronger than the one he used against me the other day. The blizzard crocodile watched from the other side. When Wang Feng first created it, the most primitive heaven, earth, lightning was only at the first tier. But now, with the third tier and soul-devouring blood wings, the difference was naturally huge. Wang Feng fell like a meteorite and smashed into the ice layer. Boom, boom, boom. Intense light exploded from the center. Countless ice cubes melted rapidly with the light. Pillars of water, dozens of meters tall, burst out from the ice river. This was the real god of wind and lightning. It was indeed powerful. Not only did it have a powerful single-point attack, but it also had an extremely powerful group attack. It was only slightly inferior to Panga's axe. Its range was even bigger than Ice Flame, Fury Lotus. The disadvantage was that there were too many conditions. It took too long to accumulate power. If it was used against an enemy, it would be defeated or run away before it could finish accumulating power. When Wang Feng could control the power of wind and lightning, he should be able to fully use this move. More than half of the glacier seemed to tremble. That terrifying momentum was already a dazzling scene. Even a violent snow crocodile and the ice Kira were stunned. They were terrified by the attack brought about by these two forces of heaven and earth. Roar! Roar! Vaguely, a loud sound could be heard from the bottom of the ice river. The blizzard crocodile and ice Kira looked at each other. Dark North King Devil Kraken had awakened. Rumble. It was as if the entire ice river was shaking. It was as if some horrifying creature was moving rhythmically from the bottom of the ice river. Wang Feng quickly flew into the air and looked down. Through the countless shattered ice layers, he could see purple lightning flashing on the surface of the ice water. The rolling water formed a tornado that allowed Wang Feng to see the scene dozens of meters below. He also saw the gigantic Dark North King Devil Kraken. It was really huge. Its entire body was black and gold. Its eyes were at least 60 meters long. It had two light blue wings that were at least 60 meters wide when it stretched out. A normal plane was less than 30 meters long, and its wingspan was only about 30 meters. This thing was twice the size of a plane, and it was still in the growth stage. If it was in the mature stage, it would be hundreds of meters or even thousands of meters long. It was Wang Feng's first time seeing such a huge beast, and it was only a 50,000-year-old giant beast. Could it be that this fellow was the only one in the entire continent? Boss Feng, it seems like it's escape. It probably knows that it can't defeat you. You scared it with your move just now. In the distance, the roars of the blizzard crocodile and the ice Kira could be heard. Hearing this, Wang Feng was stunned. Run. Was it afraid? That was impossible. This demonic Emperor Kuin's aura was much stronger than the blizzard crocodile and the ice Kira. Logically speaking, he was in third gear, so he should not be able to fight like before. We can't communicate with it. It refuses to communicate with us. The blizzard alligator continued. It's very fast. It might be running away. The Dark North King Devil Kraken was a soul beast with no weaknesses. It wasn't afraid of anything and was extremely strong in all aspects. Speed, strength, physique, etc. It was known as a hexagonal warrior and wasn't afraid of any element. The violent snow crocodile was more afraid of soul beasts like the ice Kira that could control the power of the earth. The ice Kira wasn't good at entering the sea. This Dark North King Devil Kraken didn't have any weaknesses. If it wanted to run, no one could stop it. This was also the reason why it hadn't been subdued. Even if the 100,000-year-old overlord-class soul beasts in the inner circle found it, it would escape. This demonic soul kraken is so cowardly. It is obviously stronger than us, but it didn't fight with Boss Feng. The violent snow crocodile couldn't help but say, "Brother Bing, you are cautious. This guy is really cowardly. It wants to run the moment it woke up." The ice Kira was silent. Wang Feng's current strength wasn't that exaggerated. Wang Feng didn't activate the Void Realm, but the demonic soul kraken didn't even look and ran away. We might not have a chance now. Once this guy runs away, we don't know where we'll run to. The violent snow crocodile said, "Our boss Feng is so powerful and can help us evolve. It is its loss for the little Kuin to run away like this." The ice Kira felt that this trash crocodile was right. Initially, the ice Kira wanted to live and had to submit to Feng Lin. It wanted to take revenge, so it naturally couldn't let itself die like this. But it didn't expect Wang Feng to not only heal it, but also make it stronger rapidly. Over the past month, some ice spikes had started to grow on its back. The huge yellow crystal core in its abdomen had also started to light up slightly. This was a sign of its rapid growth. Therefore, it was willing to submit now. No, even if it was chased away, it didn't want to leave. Furthermore, the ice Kira could tell that Wang Feng's target was the overlord in the inner circle, the ice dragon whale. This was also the reason why it was willing to submit. Seeing that the demonic soul kraken was about to escape, it couldn't help but sigh. This soul beast wasn't so easy to subdue. If they had this demonic soul kraken, their chances of defeating the ice dragon whale would be greatly increased. This fellow was really terrifying. Once it opened its mouth, smaller soul beasts wouldn't even be able to use their abilities before they became food for the demonic soul kraken, not to mention its other abilities. But right at this moment, Wang Feng smiled as he looked at the demonic soul kraken that was about to escape. Suddenly, he opened his mouth. A strange voice came out of its mouth. Hearing this sound, the demonic soul kraken suddenly stopped. Seeing this, the ice Kira and the violent snow crocodile were stunned. What's going on? This sound seems very special. It's a little nice to hear. The violent snow crocodile dug its ears. This sound was a little sharp and high-pitched. It was the dolphin sound that Wang Feng remembered from his previous life. This sound would shock anyone who heard it. If it was in the past, Wang Feng wouldn't have been able to learn it. But right now, he was an ignorant person who understood every part of his body very well. It wasn't difficult for him to make this sound. Furthermore, Wang Feng wasn't making random noises. He was making a simple song. When he came here, he heard from a violent snow crocodile that the demonic soul kraken liked to sing and jump. Wang Feng planned to use this method to attract it. This was also the second method that Wang Feng thought of. Furthermore, he chose to use the dolphin sound. Although Wang Feng wasn't sure if he could attract the demonic soul kraken, he could still give it a try. Reality proved that Wang Feng was right. Soon, Wang Feng saw the demonic soul kraken turn around and look at him. It had many eyes. There were about 6 of them. Each eye emitted a different light. At this moment, the demonic soul kraken's eyes lit up as it stared at Wang Feng. It was as if it had seen a confidant. Following this, it opened its mouth and made a sound similar to Wang Feng's. It was singing cheerfully. However, its voice wasn't very pleasant to listen to. Its tone was weird too. It was obvious that it hadn't practiced for 3 years. Wang Feng looked at the demonic soul kraken with a strange expression. The violent snow crocodile and the ice kira were dumbfounded. They thought that the demonic soul kraken was going to leave. They didn't expect Wang Feng to make it stay. End of this chapter. Chapter 477. At this moment, Wang Feng suddenly thought of something. He stretched out his palm and formed a huge metal ball with the mysterious underworld. With a light leap, he threw the iron ball out. As the sovereign devil Cohen cried out, it leaped and lifted the iron ball high up into the air. It seemed to be very interested in this. Wang Feng, violent snow crocodile, ice kura. Wang Fengxian let out a long sigh. He didn't expect this demonic sovereign Cohen to have such special hobbies. It liked to sing, jump, and play with balls. It was probably lonely in the world of soul beasts, right? After all, who knew that soul beasts liked such entertainment? This demonic sovereign Cohen is a coward. It likes to sing and play with balls. It doesn't seem to be very intelligent. It should be similar to Odonisuchus. Wang Feng looked at the demonic sovereign Cohen, who was having fun and singing excitedly. He sighed. Just like that, this demonic sovereign Cohen was subdued by Wang Feng. Of course, Wang Feng had to use 4th gear to beat it up before it was willing to stay. However, it was indeed very strong. Wang Feng couldn't defeat it instantly even with 4th gear and Void Realm. The main reason was that it was too big and could take a beating. Furthermore, its skin was able to absorb attacks. When ordinary soul masters fought with it, their soul power would be rapidly absorbed. The bigger it was, the harder it was to defeat it. The most terrifying thing was its ability to absorb group soul power. As long as it was in range and used this ability, the soul power of all living things in the range would be rapidly absorbed. Furthermore, the soul power consumption when it attacked would be greatly increased. Its attack power was also very strong. With such a size, the demonic sovereign Cohen wasn't weak in any aspect. However, this fellow was really a coward. It didn't like to train with Wang Feng at all. The reason why it was willing to be Wang Feng's underling wasn't because it wanted to be beaten up. It was because after so many years, only Wang Feng appreciated its musical hobby and could sing and play with it. This fellow was lazy and cowardly, but it was indeed the strongest of the 3 soul beasts. Hence, Wang Feng gave it the nickname, Coward Cohen. Just like that, Odonisuchus, Shen Bing, and Coward Cohen, the 3 top generals that Wang Feng had subdued in the outer circle, were born. As for who was the boss, Odonisuchus originally thought that he was the one who came first. Of course, he was the boss. However, he was directly beaten up by Shen Bing. Strength was respect, so he sullenly became the 3rd brother. In the next few months, Wang Feng met another Thunder Spirit Fox and became the 4th. This Thunder Spirit Fox had taken the initiative to find Wang Feng and asked to join him. Because Wang Feng's 3 subordinates were all extraordinary, many of the soul beasts in the outer circle had heard the news, but when they heard that the one who had submitted to them was a human, most of them gave up. Only this Thunder Spiritual Fox was special. What surprised Wang Feng was that the Thunder Spiritual Fox had joined him because he wanted to deal with the Ice Dragon Whale. After asking around, he found out that the Thunder Spiritual Fox had once fallen in love with the Star Moon Fox and was Little Qing's subordinate. Wang Feng found the story rather interesting. Ever since Little Green brought Xing Xing and Yaya to this place, the Thunder Spiritual Fox had secretly fallen in love with the Star Moon Fox. However, she had never had the chance to say it out loud. This was because the Star Moon Fox was beautiful, gentle, and strong. This made the Thunder Spiritual Fox feel inferior. It had always hidden this love deep in its heart. It had joined Little Ching's team and watched the moon and stars from afar. At that time, it was still not a Thunder Spiritual Fox. It was just an ordinary spiritual fox. Its bloodline was ordinary, its strength was ordinary, and all aspects were ordinary. It was not even as strong as the Star Moon Fox. It did not even have the ability to protect the Star Moon Fox. Facing its beloved goddess, the Thunder Spiritual Fox started to work hard. It cultivated day and night to become stronger. It did not hesitate to put its life on the line to cultivate. There were a few times when the other spiritual foxes tried to persuade it not to work so hard. She would not like it. At that time, Little Ching was the leader. The Star Moon Fox and Yaya were her companions. Their status and abilities were extraordinary. The Thunder Spiritual Fox was just an ordinary and lonely spiritual fox. Where I did a half. However, it did not give up. It continued to cultivate. However, the difference in its bloodline meant that no matter how hard it cultivated, it was useless. It could not hurt. It did not even have the courage to confess to its beloved goddess. However, it did not give up. Finally, one day, as if the heavens were watching over it, it fainted during one of the training sessions and was struck by lightning. How powerful was the divine lightning? Despite the pain, the Thunder Spiritual Fox still thought of the Star Moon Fox. Its strong willpower allowed it to survive and even mutate. It gained the ability to control lightning. The years of cultivation made it cry. It looked up to the sky and howled. The pain was gone. It grew 3 tails that were filled with lightning. There was also a mark of lightning on its forehead. Its powerful strength allowed it to become the most powerful spiritual fox. It was the Thunder Spiritual Fox. It became stronger and more confident. However, it was still afraid. It felt that it was not strong enough to protect the Star Moon Fox. Therefore, it continued to cultivate while watching the Star Moon Fox, until one day, his cultivation had reached 40,000 years. The power of lightning evolved once again, and 6 tails grew out of it. It became the most powerful existence in the history of the spiritual foxes. It was also the most terrifying existence among the spiritual foxes. There was no such mutation in the history of the spiritual foxes. The Thunder Spiritual Fox regained its confidence. It wanted to confess to the Star Moon Fox that it had been in love with for many years. It wanted to protect the Star Moon Fox forever. When he heard this, Wang Feng could not help but sigh. Wang Feng could roughly guess the rest of the story. However, at this moment, the Ice Dragon Whale attacked. The battle between the Ice Dragon Whale and the titled Dalu caused Xingxing and Yiya to be half dead. In the end, they had no choice but to become human soul rings. The Thunder Spiritual Fox did not even get to see the Star Moon Fox for the last time. What kind of tragedy was this? It was not easy to obtain such a powerful strength. However, before it could express its feelings, it was gone. It spent half a year in a daze. There were a few times when it charged into the inner circle to seek revenge. However, it was beaten half to death by the Ice Dragon Whale subordinates before it could even see the Ice Dragon Whale. However, it did not give up. It cultivated bitterly and used all sorts of methods to become stronger. It was as if its spirit was made of steel. Over the past 10 months, it did not rest for a single day. It was in a very tense state. It was called the Iron Fox. It wanted revenge. It was these 4 words that supported it. After Wang Feng heard this, he was very impressed. Even Benjiro was moved when he heard this. Just like that, it found Wang Feng. More accurately, it found the blizzard crocodile. It did not want anything. For revenge, it was willing to do anything. It was extremely pure. Just like that, Wang Feng subdued his 4th subordinate. After another 2 months, Wang Feng reached rank 50. He also activated the 5th form of the chaotic green lotus. At the same time, he received news about Little Green from the 4 soul beasts. Little Green was caught by the Ice Dragon Whale. It was a little late, cough, cough. End of chapter. Chapter 478. The Thunder Spiritual Fox found out about this. Over the past half a year, the Thunder Spiritual Fox had been defeated by the Ice Dragon Whale's underling. It had accepted the Ice Dragon Whale's underling as its boss and had been secretly gathering information about the Ice Dragon Whale. It knew everything about the Ice Dragon Whale. This made Wang Feng look at it in a different light. The Thunder Spiritual Fox was really ruthless. Not only was it ruthless to others, it was also ruthless to itself. When Wang Feng heard the news, he didn't make any preparations. Wang Feng calculated that he had been in the extreme north for almost 2 years. In the first year, he had subdued the blizzard crocodile and ice Kira. In the second year, he had subdued the demonic Emperor Kuan and the Thunder Spiritual Fox. In the following days, Wang Feng had been training with the 4 of them. The most hardworking ones were the Thunder Spiritual Fox and Ice Kira. The Blizzard Crocodile was relatively lazy. The Cowardly Kuan was not a lazy fish. It was a dead fish. If Wang Feng hadn't beaten it up a few times, it would have hidden in the ice river and didn't want to come out. It would only appear when Wang Feng found a place to sing and play. The Thunder Spiritual Fox didn't look good. To be more precise, it had scratched its originally beautiful purple gold fur and face to make it easier to hide from the Ice Dragon Whale. It had mutated into a Thunder Spiritual Fox and was still very good-looking. It had light purple fur and a pair of deep purple pupils. Although it wasn't big, it was about the size of a South China tiger in his previous life. But it looked good. Unfortunately, in order to take revenge, it didn't care about these things. When it first came, Wang Feng thought it was a mixed fur fox when he first saw it. Its entire body was colorful, and there were 2 deep scars on its face. It looked unusually hideous. It looked ferocious, sloppy, and ugly. It said that if it didn't do this, it wouldn't be able to become the Ice Dragon Whale's underling. It would be easily discovered. In addition, it had to wander around the Ice Dragon Whale's underlings and do odd jobs like pouring tea. That was the only way. The Ice Dragon Whale's underlings were all extremely cruel. It was an exaggeration to say that they were ugly. Furthermore, because it had never expressed its love for the Star Moon Fox, no one knew that it had a grudge with the Ice Dragon Whale. It was even harder for the Ice Dragon Whale to suspect it. It didn't even give a reason when it came to the Ice Dragon Whale's underling. On this day, outside the wooden house, Wang Feng looked at the 4 soul beasts. The violent snow crocodile and he knew each other the longest. Ice Kira joined half a year later. The demonic Emperor Kuan was subdued a year after Wang Feng came to the extreme north. The Thunder Spirit Fox joined them 2 months later. Wang Feng calculated the time. There was less than a month left. He had been in the extreme north for 2 years. Although the Blizzard Crocodile had known each other for the longest time, the ones who trained with it the most were the Ice Kira and the Thunder Spirit Fox. Their progress was also very fast. Even his cultivation had increased. All of them had increased their cultivation by at least a few thousand years. The one that improved the most was the Ice Kira, because it was only around 40,000 years old when it first joined. Now it was almost 50,000 years old. Long ice spikes grew out of its limbs and back, and the ice crystal armor that covered its body had many ancient patterns. The yellow heart core in the center of its abdomen flickered slightly. He had trained with Wang Feng for half a year and had made great progress. Next was the Thunder Spirit Fox. The Thunder Spirit Fox had trained with Wang Feng for less than half a year, perhaps only 4 months. But its progress was ranked second among the soul beasts. It originally only had 40,000 years of cultivation. Now, its cultivation was only slightly weaker than the Ice Kira. And under the cleansing of Wang Feng's golden lotus, its body had returned to its original state. It had also grown an extra tail, turning into a 7-tailed Thunder Spirit Fox. According to it, its tail represented the power and innate potential to control lightning. After reaching 6 tails, it was almost at its limit. It felt that it could not improve anymore. But it did not expect to improve again after training with Wang Feng. But Wang Feng knew that the Golden Lotus ability actually increased the upper limit of its potential. This was the essence of evolution. Wang Fengxing thought of using the Golden Lotus to create an army of soul beasts, but after thinking about it, he felt that it would take too much time, and many of the soul beasts did not have high potential. For example, the three little fellows that had followed him for 4 to 5 years. Compared to these 4 soul beasts, their innate bloodlines were far inferior. He used the golden lotus for close to 5 years to make the 3 of them stronger and evolve. Ching Ching was the best. She had followed him for the longest time. The other 2, Xing Xing and Yi, were not stronger than the 4 soul beasts in terms of innate talent and bloodlines. They were even weaker. Other than the thunder spirit fox and the ice Kira, the blizzard crocodile's cultivation had increased to 70,000 years. Its cultivation was more than 60,000 years, and it had followed Wang Feng since the beginning. It was normal for it to have such an improvement. In comparison, little Kun Kun, look at you, Wang Feng stomped the demonic sovereign Kun under his butt. This fellow was too big. It was like a steel fortress. The other 3 soul beasts were on the demonic sovereign Kun's back. Even the huge ice Kira was very small in front of the demonic sovereign Kun. The ice Kira was more than 10 meters long and weighed more than 10 tons. But on the demonic sovereign Kun's back, it was like Wang Feng was carrying a stone that weighed dozens of kilograms. Because the inner circle was too big, the ice dragon whale's position was very far from where they were, according to the Thunder Spirit Fox's description. Therefore, he used the demonic sovereign Kun to drag it for a while before acting according to plan. The demonic sovereign Kun let out a lazy roar. Its wings flapped slightly, and a cold current appeared. It flew 100 meters in the air, and its shadow alone was enough to frighten the soul beasts below. The ice dragon whale has 5 10,000-year soul beasts, and more than 60,000-year soul beasts. The thunder spirit fox spoke as they traveled. Its voice was very steady. When it first learned to speak, it was very deep. It was like a 40-year-old middle-aged man who had experienced the ups and downs of the world. It had a hint of vicissitudes. But thinking about the thunder spirit fox's experience, Wang Feng felt that it was very normal. The blizzard crocodile and the ice Kira sounded younger, about 17 or 18 years old. The demonic sovereign Kun's voice was lazy, like a young man in his 20s. But in reality, the thunder spirit fox was the youngest, and the demonic sovereign Kun was the oldest. The blizzard crocodile and the ice Kira were second. The 5 10,000-year soul beast strength range from 60,000 to 80,000 years. The most powerful one is a frost wolf with 80,000 years of cultivation. The thunder spirit fox said slowly in a deep voice, "Among the 5 great powers in the inner circle, the ice dragon whale is the weakest, but it is also the most troublesome. Its location is called the 4 Absolutes, the Manifestation Valley. That place is a rare, good place in the inner circle, and it is rich in energy. In fact, the 5 great powers in the inner circle all have their own territories, and they all occupy a treasure ground." Wang Feng nodded slightly. In a chapter. Chapter 479. Although the extreme north was dangerous, there were many paradises in the inner circle. It was similar to the ice fire Yin Yang Well. Although it was not comparable, it was not too far off. Otherwise, how difficult would it be to nurture those powerful overlord-class soul beasts without resources and just relying on cultivation? Saying this, the thunder spiritual fox used its tail to wipe off the frost on its face. The cold air in the clouds was too heavy. "We are not afraid of the other soul beasts at all." The thunder spiritual fox continued. "Qing Huang is the smartest soul beast I've ever seen. Although her cultivation isn't high, she's very powerful. Logically speaking, she should be very difficult to capture. Now that she's been captured by the ice dragon whale, something must have happened. Although I'm not clear about the reason, Qing Huang should be locked in the extreme cold ice cave in the Ice God Valley. The ice dragon whale has been chasing after Qing Huang. I am afraid it will announce to all the soul beasts under its command to come and participate in its Ice God Valley's feast. The ice dragon whale is a very cunning soul beast, and it's extremely selfish. It wants to take all the beautiful things for itself. Most of its soul beasts are also greedy and ruthless, but its strength is real. It should have recovered from the injuries caused by the human experts in the past half a year. Boss Phone, you must be careful. I even suspect that it released this information on purpose. Wang Feng's arrangement for them was very simple. In the past half a year, Wang Feng gave the four soul beasts a special training to let them learn the cooperation between soul beasts so that they could display more powerful moves. They also learned very quickly. Wang Feng looked at the white snow forest in the distance, and a strange light flashed in his eyes. Unknowingly, 2 years had passed. For this trip, not only did Wang Feng want to defeat the ice dragon whale and save Qing Qing, he also wanted to occupy the Ice God Valley. According to the Thunder Spiritual Fox, the Nature Manifestation Valley was one of the 5 rare treasured lands in the extreme north. It had many heaven and earth treasures. Furthermore, it occupied a large area and was divided into 4 dangerous lands: Extreme Cold Ice Cave, Extreme Cold Spirit Cave, Extreme Lightning Purple Forest, and Extreme Wind Green Platform. It was a dangerous land that was formed naturally by heaven and earth. While it was dangerous, it was also a treasure land. The ice dragon whale only occupied the extreme cold ice cave. It didn't dare to stay in the other 3 dangerous areas of the Nature Manifestation Valley. It was even more so for the other soul beasts. Even if their elements were compatible, they wouldn't be able to stay there for long. There were all sorts of natural treasures of different elements inside. The Thunder Spiritual Fox had endured the humiliation of being a subordinate of the Ice Dragon Whale for half a year, so it knew these things very well. Boss Feng, you have to promise me that after we defeat the Ice Dragon Whale, you have to find me a wife. The Blizzard Crocodile gave a silly smile. Wang Feng, is this what a homebody crocodile like you is thinking about? Boss Feng, after we defeat the Ice Dragon Whale, you have to teach me that new song too. The one with a rainbow on the left and a dragon on the right. The demonic Emperor Kuan laughed mischievously. And Kuan is too beautiful. I want to learn it too. Wang Feng, this was his only hobby. Boss Feng, after you kill the ice dragon whale, I'll grind its bones to dust. Ice Kira's eyes glinted fiercely. In terms of hatred and emotions, Ice Kira and the Thunder Spiritual Fox were equally matched. I want to eat its flesh and drink its blood. A trace of pain flashed across the Thunder Spiritual Fox's eyes. Wang Feng looked at the 4 soul beasts and nodded slightly. 4th Extremity, Myriad Elephant Valley. The terrain of this place was very special. There were layers of ice walls and icicles that were at least 100 meters tall, surrounding this place so tightly that not even a drop of water could pass through. There was only a small opening at the back. Relying on these ice walls and icicles, the 4th Extremity Myriad Elephant Valley could be said to be easy to defend and hard to attack. Other than flying-type soul beasts, it was too difficult to break in. If one were to look from the sky, there were a total of 4 colors in this 4th Extremity Myriad Elephant Valley. They were divided into 4 different directions in the valley. Streams of spiritual aura gathered together with these 4 streams of air, forming waves of extremely pure energy. One could imagine how much faster one's cultivation speed would be if one were to cultivate in such a treasure land. However, the danger level of this place wasn't something that ordinary 10,000-year soul beasts could stay in. If one's cultivation wasn't high enough, they would die if they entered. The Absolute Cold Ice Cave was located on the upper left side of the Myriad Elephant Valley. The temperature here was at least negative 120 degrees Celsius. The closer it was to the center, the colder it was. At this moment, there were many ice crystals hanging upside down in the spirit cave, emitting waves of cold air. The ice crystals were like stalactites, and it was unknown how many years had passed since they formed. The surrounding ice ground was filled with all sorts of strange and special plants, each of which emitted an extremely cold aura. Some ice grass was used to form a path in the center, which extended to the absolute cold ice spring in front of the spirit cave. The ice dragon whale lived in this absolute cold ice spring. Upwind of the ice spring, countless ice crystals formed an ice crystal cage. The absolute cold ice crystals in this spirit cave were at least tens of thousands of years old, and were extremely hard. Normal 60 to 70,000 year old beasts wouldn't be able to cause much damage to these ice crystals. Once sealed inside, just the cold air emitted by the ice crystals would be unbearable for normal tidal Douluo. Inside, there was an exceptionally beautiful green bird locked in the cage. This green bird wasn't very big and was only about 5 meters tall. However, her entire body was as radiant as a fairy, and every feather seemed to be meticulously crafted by the heavens. Even the patterns on her feathers were orderly and carried a sense of mystery. Her eyes were bright and spirited, and her pale, golden pupils were calmly looking at the ice spring below. She seemed to have been inflicted with a special soul skill and couldn't move at all. Her pure, golden claws were stepping on the ice crystal cage, and the golden feathers on her head were gently draped behind her back. They swayed slightly with the cold wind and made her look like a fairy bird. Her wings weren't open and were only closed close to her body. Her green wings could only be opened slightly, but they emitted waves of gentle energy that resisted the terrifying temperature in the absolute cold ice cave. Even if they didn't admire her from the perspective of soul beasts, normal living beings would think that this green bird was extremely beautiful. However, many soul beasts gathered below were looking at this green bird with greed and fear in their eyes. These ice-type soul beasts were all at least 10,000 year soul beasts, and many of them were 30 to 40,000 year soul beasts. They all had different shapes and sizes, and their auras were very strong. They were all subordinates of the ice dragon whale. The 5 soul beasts at the front were like generals and stood at the very front. The one in the middle was a huge ice blue wolf that was 7 to 8 meters tall. It was the ice dragon whale's #1 general, the Skyfrost wolf. The other 4 were between 60 to 70,000 year soul beasts, and their cultivations were between 60 to 70,000 year soul beasts. They were also huge, and all of them looked ferocious. Today was a grand occasion for them in the myriad Elephant Valley. Their old mountain, the ice dragon whale, was about to become Qing Huang Er's partner. Of course, it was by force. End of this chapter. Chapter 480. As the overlord of the extreme north, the ice dragon whale's partner was no small matter. However, it was cruel and didn't make many friends. Most of the soul beasts following it were the same. It couldn't invite any powerful soul beasts from the inner circle. Other than the 5 overlords, there were many powerful soul beasts in the inner circle. However, they usually cultivated in seclusion and wouldn't appear easily. Even so, the ice dragon whale was powerful enough to be the overlord of the inner circle. Although it was the weakest, many soul beasts in the inner circle didn't dare to provoke it. At this moment, a huge figure jumped out from the absolute chill ice spring. This huge beast was as big as a small mountain from afar. It had 4 wings, and each wing was emitting strong energy waves. Its body was dark blue and looked like a whale. However, its body was longer and its head was similar to a giant dragon's. However, it was much bigger. As it rushed out from the ice spring, countless cold currents flowed down from its body like a waterfall, making crashing sounds. The ice dragon whale looked at the green bird and roared, "Qing Huang, from today onwards, you are my beast." The green bird was speechless. Of course, the ice dragon whale used its roar to convey its message. "You idiot whale!" The green bird screeched and looked at the ice dragon whale coldly. "Why? Are you not convinced?" The ice dragon whale pointed at the soul beast below with its wings and said, "They are all my subordinates. Do you think you can run away from me today? How many of my subordinates have you killed in the past 6 months? If I hadn't tolerated you, you would have been dead. Today, I'm giving you a chance. You better accept your fate and follow me and serve me well." The green bird laughed coldly, but remained silent. "I know that you still have a few people who support you in the outer circle. A few days ago, I threw some of your feathers out and waited for them to come to me so that I can wipe them all out. I will let you experience true despair." The ice dragon whale continued. "He even released the news that you were captured by me. He even found many of the treacherous soul beasts that were hiding among my subordinates. I'm guessing that they're on their way here now. The ice dragon whale wasn't stupid. On the contrary, it was very smart. Otherwise, it wouldn't have become the overlord of the 5 overlords in the inner circle. You don't know, right? When I was in the absolute cold ice cave, I obtained the myriad spirit ice heart. If they dare to come in, they will die without a doubt. Even I can't refine and absorb the myriad soul ice heart in the ice cavern of absolute frost. I know that any soul beast under 100,000 years of age won't have any chance of surviving after releasing its energy. When the time comes, just wait and see. Ha ha ha! The ice dragon whale roared wildly. The blue bird's wings trembled slightly and then calmed down. The 1,000-spirit ice heart in the extreme frost ice cave was the main immortal gray treasure that formed the extreme frost ice cave. Legend had it that it was formed from the heart of an ancient ice beast that died. As time passed, it formed the 1,000-spirit ice heart in the extreme frost ice cave. Of course, this was only a rumor in the world of soul beasts. The blue bird had been in the extreme north for a long time, and had been in the inner circle for a long time. Naturally, he knew this secret as well. However, she did not expect that the ice dragon whale would be able to obtain the ice heart of 10,000 spirits. Now, I'll ask you one more time. If you're willing to serve me in the future, I could be merciful and spare their lives. Otherwise, they'll all become nourishment for my extreme frost ice cave. The ice dragon whale roared. The feathers on the blue bird's head swayed slightly, but she did not move. Or rather, she did not believe that a soul beast would come to save her at this time. She knew most of the soul beasts in the outer circle. Even if there were soul beasts that had acknowledged her as their boss, many of them had left after hearing about the ice dragon whale. More than half a year ago, although she had lured in powerful human beings to fight the ice dragon whale, there were no more soul beasts around her after that battle. Those that could leave had already left. Otherwise, she would not be alone in the inner circle, thinking of various ways to kill the ice dragon whale. In fact, she had almost succeeded a few times. Once, she managed to convince a 90,000-year-old soul beast of another powerful organization to lure the ice dragon whale out and ambush it. The ice dragon whale was almost killed by the ice dragon whale. But the ice dragon whale's vitality was too strong. In the end, the 90,000-year soul beast could only sigh and say helplessly, "This ice dragon whale has already matured. It owns the 4 absolutes, Manifestation Valley. It has been cleansed by the power of heaven and earth in the extreme frost ice cave and is about to evolve. Killing it is harder than ascending to heaven." Not long after, the ice dragon whale had almost recovered in the extreme frost ice cave. In order to understand the power of the 4 absolutes, the blue bird pretended to be defeated and was captured. She wanted to see what kind of place this extreme frost ice cave was. After being captured, the blue bird was deeply shocked by this place. It was no wonder that the ice dragon whale could be so powerful. With such a treasure land and its amazing bloodline, it could naturally become one of the 5 overlords in the inner circle. The blue bird was about to speak. Right at this moment, rumble, an earth-shattering sound suddenly sounded. The extreme frost ice cave seemed to have been hit by something terrifying, accompanied by a roar. Ice dragon whale, you're hit. Your grandpa crocodile is here to take your life today. Get out here. Hearing this roar, in an instant, all the soul beasts in the ice cave were stunned. The ice dragon whale flying above the ice spring was also stunned. Rumble. Following that, there were a few terrifying smashes. It actually smashed a huge hole in the sky above the extreme frost ice cave. A wind-winged blizzard crocodile was flying in mid-air, roaring arrogantly at the soul beasts below. And on its back, there was a mysterious young man standing quietly. The red fire lotus in his hand was emitting a dazzling divine power, as if it was going to destroy the world. The young man threw the red lotus in his hand lightly. The red lotus, which was as small as a light particle in midair, suddenly exploded. Endless light covered everything and expanded the extreme frost ice cave again. Many of the weaker soul beasts below even fainted from the shock wave. Only then did the ice dragon whale wake up. It was really shocked. It never thought that there would be soul beasts and humans who dared to attack its base. What kind of audacity was this? Even the top powerhouses among the humans didn't dare to trespass into the four absolutes, the extreme frost ice cave. Because even if a human soul master had an ice-type martial soul, it was difficult for them to withstand the temperature of the inner circle, and even more difficult for them to withstand the cold air of the four absolutes. Only death awaited those who entered. Not to mention humans. Many other soul beasts didn't dare to trespass. But now, a human actually dared to trespass? End of this chapter. Chapter 481. Roar. The ice dragon whale let out an angry roar. This human had entered the four extremities of the myriad elephant valley, and it hadn't sensed him at all. Wang Feng was now at rank 50, and with his Shadowma's soul skill concealing his aura, it was almost impossible for soul beasts below 100,000 years to sense him. He's just a human. Leave him to me, my king. With a light leap, the Skyfrost wolf jumped out of the broken hole. However, just as it jumped out, a bolt of purple lightning struck down from the other side, causing the Skyfrost wolf to howl in pain. Following that, a light flashed, and multiple bolts of lightning crackled on the Skyfrost wolf's body. Many soul beasts couldn't help but look at the purple light. In the distant horizon, a purple fox with 7 tails was floating. Its entire body was covered in lightning, and its eyes were golden, exuding a strong, murderous aura. Wang Feng smiled. His Shadowma's soul skill could release a layer of fog that could conceal the aura of small soul beasts like Odontosuchus and the Iron Fox. However, it wasn't possible for large soul beasts like the Ice Kira and the Cowardly Kuan. Combine soul skills and end this quickly. Wang Feng shouted, "Cowardly Kuan, Shenbing attack!" The Skyfrost wolf directly fell from the sky. Even with its cultivation, it was still somewhat unable to withstand the sudden lightning strike. Furthermore, the 7-tailed lightning fox wasn't simple. The lightning it released was extremely powerful. Every time its tail moved, countless bolts of lightning would strike. The ice dragon whale was furious. The Skyfrost wolf was its strongest subordinate. It didn't expect it to be injured like this. Go, kill them. The ice dragon whale roared at its subordinates. Its remaining 4 generals led many soul beasts and flew into the sky. But at this moment, the sky above the ice cave of extreme frost suddenly darkened, as if it was covered by something. Roar! A terrifying roar suddenly sounded. Many of the soul beasts were stunned when they heard this voice. Almost all of them were shocked. The ice dragon whale looked at the huge creature in the sky in disbelief and roared. Dark North Royal Devil Kuan. In the extreme north, there was only one Dark North Royal Devil Kuan. In terms of size, in the extreme north, if the Cowardly Kuan claimed to be second, no soul beast would dare claim to be first. Even the ice dragon whale, which was famous for its size, had a cultivation of more than 90,000 years, and was one step away from reaching 100,000 years, but it could not compare to the 50,000-year-old Kuan. The most terrifying thing was the loss of soul power in his body. The ice dragon whale could clearly sense the loss of soul power within its body. This meant that the loss of soul power was extremely fast and not slow. A 50,000-year Cowardly Kuan possessed the power of a 100,000-year soul beast domain. This wasn't Kuan's true domain, but his special aura. If he were to form a domain in the future, he would be able to suck these soul beasts dry in no time. The ice dragon whale had never expected that the demonic Emperor Kraken, which had never been seen before, would appear here. Roared, another shriek rang out. In midair, the Kuan opened its mouth and spat out a waterfall-like stream of water into the extreme cold ice cave below. Immediately after, the blizzard crocodile spread its wings, and the hurricane directly blew toward the upside-down current of the sea. It directly turned the water into a waterspout that connected the heavens and the earth. The dozens of soul beasts that had just flown into the air were directly sucked into it. The thunder spirit fox screeched a few times, and its 7 tails suddenly flashed. 7 pure, purple lightning energy instantly poured into the waterspout. Dozens of soul beasts were struck inside until they cried out in pain. In this wind and water tornado, there was a terrifying hurricane wind blade, and at this moment, there was the Thunder Spirit Fox's 7 lightning bolts. The power of the combined attack of several different elements almost instantly crushed all the soul beasts under 30,000 years old into pieces. At the same time, roar! Outside the extreme cold ice cave, there seemed to be a huge monster that landed. Countless icicles in the distance suddenly flew up and merged into the wind, water, and lightning tornado. It was Shunbing. The icicles instantly turned into countless ice blades, cutting the bodies of the soul beasts inside. Even the remaining 4 subordinates of the ice dragon whale could not withstand the damage caused by the tornado formed by wind, lightning, water, and ice. Too terrifying. Wang Feng nodded slightly. Although the 4 of them had not trained together for long, they were all very smart. Before they came, Wang Feng had asked them to face to cultivate their soul skills. When they attacked, they would kill the opponent in one blow. From the current situation, these 4 fellows were indeed ridiculously strong. Especially when they worked together, their strength increased exponentially. At this moment, the ice dragon whale looked at the terrifying move formed by the 4 soul beasts and was suddenly shocked. Among these soul beasts, the strongest was only the blizzard crocodile, which was only 70,000 years. The rest were only over 50,000 years, and at best, they could only be considered as elites. However, each of them was able to display strength that far exceeded their cultivation. Of course, this was because of their rare bloodline, but it was far from being this strong. One had to know that there were at least 50 to 60 soul beasts inside, including the Skyfrost wolf. There were also a few 60 to 80,000 year soul beasts, and they were all very strong. But at this moment, they did not have any strength to fight back. They were like lambs waiting to be slaughtered. Just 4 of them were able to beat all of its subordinates like chickens and pottery dogs, completely unable to withstand a single blow. That human! The ice dragon whale looked at Wang Feng. With its high intelligence, it instantly knew that this human was the backbone of these 4 soul beasts. I will kill you first, then deal with the other 4. The ice dragon whale roared and directly attacked Wang Feng. Its huge body directly broke through the hole at the top of the extreme cold ice cave. Oomph! Wang Feng looked at the ice dragon whale and sneered. At this moment, a green cry sounded. Boss Feng, be careful! The blizzard crocodile shouted. In order to use this combination technique, he had already left his original position, leaving only Wang Feng floating in the air with his blood wings. I've been waiting for you for a long time. Wang Feng sneered. The ice dragon whale's body was very big, but for Wang Feng, who had seen the cowardly Kuan, it was very difficult to be surprised. This time, Wang Feng did not plan to use 5th gear. 6th gear. First, he applied the status on himself, then used the Black Lotus to replenish the soul power that was consumed by using the Ice Flame Fury Lotus. Wang Feng took a deep breath and opened his palm. An ordinary-looking small axe suddenly appeared in his hand. Pangu axe. Wang Feng looked up to the sky and roared, and his soul power was continuously injected into it. Now he was rank 50. He was no longer the Wang Feng of the past, and his body would not fall apart after using the Pangu axe. With the injection of soul power, the ordinary axe suddenly bloomed with intense light. In an instant, Wang Feng's body lit up with an intense beam of light that shot into the sky. The aura was like an azure dragon rising out of stream. The terrifying beam of light almost instantly woke up many powerful soul beasts that were still sleeping and cultivating. Many Overlord-rank soul beasts also opened their eyes and stared at the beam of light in the distant sky. The beam of light pierced through the clouds, as if a hole was poked in the sky, and countless clouds scattered around the beam of light. This was the 3rd time Wang Feng used the Pangu axe. End of this chapter. Chapter 482. Just like the previous 2 times, Wang Feng's clothes were all torn apart. His muscles were cracked, and countless blood marks appeared. This was because the Pangu Axe's power was too great. Even his handsome face had countless blood marks, which were flowing with pure energy. His short hair was fluttering crazily. His aura was even stronger than a demon god. For a moment, Odontosukis, Shun Bing, and the other 2 soul beasts were stunned. This was the first time they saw Wang Feng explode with such terrifying power. It was a power that made them feel fear. It was an innate fear. Even the cowardly Kuan was the same. In fact, it was not really a coward, as it had the bloodlines of 2 ancient beasts. It was just not interested in fighting. If it was really afraid, it would not be afraid of anyone. Even the ice dragon whale did not say anything to make it feel fear. However, the current Wang Feng truly made him feel fear. At this moment, the ice dragon whale was the same. Even it did not dare to believe it. It was close to 100,000 years old, and it felt fear towards a human. What kind of joke was this? The emotion of fear would directly affect the performance of a battle. The ice dragon whale roared a few times, as if it wanted to relieve the fear in its heart. But Wang Feng did not give a chance. The moment Wang Feng held the materialized Pangu axe, the sky changed color, and the sun and moon lost their light. Wang Feng leaped, and the axe came down from the sky towards the ice dragon whale. Compared to the ice dragon whale, his body was like an ant compared to a human. Although it was very small, the light condensed from the axe covered half of the ice dragon whale. When he came, Wang Feng thought that he could not give the ice dragon whale a chance to attack. Otherwise, even if he could dodge, the other 4 soul beasts would be seriously injured. So he simply used the Pangu axe to kill it. Of course, one axe would not be able to kill the ice dragon whale. After all, this beast was more than 90,000 years old, and it was very strong. But Wang Feng only needed to hack it to the point of near death, and let the other 4 soul beasts finish it off. The 4 otaku crocodiles teamed up to beat up the ice dragon whale's underlings as if they were toying with vegetables. When the wind, lightning, ice, and water tornado killed dozens of them, they would definitely have a lot of soul power left. Because of the cowardly Kuan's special aura, Wang Feng called it the Dark North Aura. It could absorb the opponent's soul power to replenish itself and its companions. Therefore, the more they fought, the less exhausted they would be. Under the attack of the axe, the ice dragon whale panicked. Its entire body seemed to have turned into a block of ice and became hard. It was also covered with a layer of ice that was at least 3 to 4 meters deep to defend itself. From afar, it looked like an ovalized coffin. As the 2 collided, the layer of ice cracked inch by inch. Intense light exploded from the point of impact of Wang Feng's Pangu axe. It instantly penetrated the ice dragon whale's defense. No matter how strong one's defense was, it was useless against an axe that could split heaven and earth. Not only did it penetrate the ice dragon whale's ice defense, but it also left a wound that was several meters long on the ice dragon whale's body. Ice blue blood gushed out from the wound, but Wang Feng frowned slightly. This beast was really strong. Even if he swung his axe down, he still wouldn't be able to seriously injure this beast. If it were Odontosukis and the other 3, they would probably be on their last breaths. Is this the overlord of the extreme north? Wang Feng thought to himself, it is indeed very strong. If I were in 5th gear, I probably wouldn't be able to defeat it. Its abilities are at least comparable to a rank 94 title Douluo. It's not far from a rank 95 transcendent Douluo. As he thought until here, Wang Feng swung his axe down again. In comparison, Wang Feng's heavenly wind lightning was much simpler and more relaxed. It was simple and direct. His axe was the only strength he had. He unleashed it instantly. As light flashed, the 2 axes landed on the ice dragon whale's body. This beast immediately let out a tragic cry. After 3 axes, it was severely injured, even though it had 90,000 years of cultivation. Wang Feng, on the other hand, was secretly shocked. This beast was really strong. It was only severely injured after 3 axes. 3 terrifying wounds appeared on the ice dragon whale's body. Fresh blood flowed out continuously. Even with its huge body, it couldn't withstand such injuries. I can still hit it 4 more times. Wang Feng didn't hesitate. This ice dragon whale was very strong. As long as it took a breather, this battle would be meaningless. Odanisuke's 4 soul beasts had great potential. But even if they worked together, they wouldn't be a match for the ice dragon whale. Boom, boom, boom. 3 consecutive explosions occurred in the clouds. Each time, it meant that Wang Feng's Pango axe had landed. Wang Feng had no choice. Although the Pango axe was strong, he wasn't strong enough. It was impossible for him to kill a 90,000-year-old beast with just 2 or 3 axes. If this was an ordinary 90,000-year-old beast, it wouldn't be able to withstand a few axes. But this was the ice dragon whale. Wang Feng didn't hold back. His soul power was full, but he could only swing his axe 7 times. His body was also at its limit. The last 4 axes didn't stop at all. They landed on the ice dragon whale. The ice dragon whale was almost split into 2. Wang Feng could even see the ice dragon whale's ice blue bones. But they were also broken by the Pango axe. After 7 axes, the ice dragon whale was on the brink of death. Wang Feng heaved a sigh of relief. He had calculated the ice dragon whale's strength before he came, and it seemed like it wasn't out of his expectations. The ice dragon whale didn't have much fighting strength in this state. Later, he would let the 4 of them vent their anger before he took its soul ring to break through. At this moment, Odanisuke and the other 3 soul beasts had successfully dealt with the pair of soul beasts. Close to 60 10,000-year-old beasts had been dismembered. They fell to the ground and formed a mountain of flesh. Cowardly Kuan was the leader. The other 3 soul beasts stood on Cowardly Kuan's back and looked at the ice dragon whale. This was because the ice dragon whale's current appearance was too shocking. Its huge body was almost split into 2, but it wasn't dead. Yes, even so, the ice dragon whale wasn't dead. The 4 soul beasts were shocked by Wang Feng's strength, but they were also horrified by the ice dragon whale's vitality. The 4 of you, Shun Bing, Taihu, you could do whatever you want to it. Leave the rest for me to kill. Wang Feng coughed and retracted his Pango axe. Although there were many cracks on his body, he still had some strength left. It would take a few days before he could use his Pango axe again. Following this, Wang Feng used his golden lotus to heal himself and quickly recovered. Hearing this, the 4 soul beasts, especially Shun Bing and the Taihu, couldn't help but roar into the sky. But at this moment, a loud green cry could be heard. Wang Feng was slightly stunned. It was Little Qing's cry. When they came, Wang Feng immediately sensed Little Qing. However, their strategy was to fight quickly and not give the ice dragon whale any chance to react. Therefore, Wang Feng didn't look at Little Qing immediately. Hearing this cry, Wang Feng was stunned. Although they hadn't seen each other for more than 3 years, he immediately understood what Little Qing was trying to convey. Master, be careful. The ice dragon whale still has a trump card. Wang Feng was stunned. He looked at the ice dragon whale and thought, what other trump cards does it have? But in the next moment, P.S. We have guests at home, and there should be another 2 or 3 chapters tonight. End of this chapter. Chapter 483. Roar. The half-crippled ice dragon whale let out a furious roar. The roar sounded like it was venting something, but it also sounded like it was laughing crazily. It only had 1 breath left, but it was able to use its last bit of strength to let out such a roar. It was a real fight to the death. That human youth was too freaking weird. He was completely unreasonable and directly used 7 terrifying axes. It was completely stunned and didn't even have time to react. Because Wang Feng's 7 axes only took a few seconds, he didn't give the ice dragon whale any chance to breathe. The ice dragon whale didn't expect that one of the 5 overlords, would lose so miserably, and it was in its own home ground. Even half a year ago, the human expert wasn't as terrifying as this youth. And at that time, It wasn't in the extreme cold ice cave, but in the outer area, so its strength was slightly weakened. In the extreme cold ice cave, it was at its strongest state. It didn't have any major injuries, but it ended up in such a state. But unfortunately, this youth was still one move away. Really, if he used one more move, the ice dragon whale knew that it would definitely die. But the other party was also exhausted. It was already terrifying enough to be able to use such a terrifying move 7 times in a row. And the mysterious weapon that could cause fear to it had also disappeared. Now it was finally its turn to counterattack. Even if there were 4 strong soul beasts, the ice dragon whale wasn't afraid at all. With a furious roar, the ice dragon whale opened its mouth that was already filled with blood. An intense light flew out from its mouth. The moment the light flew out, Wang Fengxian's heart jumped. An extremely dangerous feeling suddenly rose from the bottom of his heart. Soul core. Wang Feng's pupils shrank. Wang Feng remembered that in the second book of the original novel, there was a setting about soul cores. In fact, in the current timeline, soul beasts should also have soul cores. They also relied on soul cores to cultivate. But was that a soul core? Wang Feng looked at the ball of light and was stunned for a few seconds. In these few seconds, the 4 soul beasts that were close to the ice dragon whale seemed to be frozen. Following that, under the illumination of the icy blue light, Odontosuchus, Shun Bing, and the other 3 soul beasts were covered in a layer of white ice at a speed visible to the naked eye. Odontosuchus and Iron Fox, who were the smallest in size, were turned into pure white ice sculptures in the blink of an eye. The larger ice Kira struggled and roared a few times, but it was unable to break free from the white mysterious ice and was quickly frozen. Even the dark North Royal Kraken, which had the largest body, was quickly frozen by the icy blue light. I can't break free at all. Strange. It was incomparably strange. They were all ice-type soul beasts, and Odontosuchus's 4 soul beasts weren't ordinary ice-type soul beasts. Even the blizzard crocodile with the weakest bloodline had an extremely high resistance to ice. So how could it be frozen? Let's not talk about the timeline. Even if it's a soul core, it can't be this strong. Wang Feng focused and took a deep breath, especially Shunbing. She has the highest resistance to ice among the 4. How could she be frozen? Unless this thing's grade is much higher than theirs. These Overlord-class soul beasts weren't easy to deal with. They were hiding such a trump card. Wang Feng's eyes flashed as he saw that the center of the ball of light was an irregular rhombus-shaped crystal. And from the looks of it, the ice dragon whale didn't seem to have the ability to control it. But with the appearance of this rhombus-shaped crystal, the space around it seemed to be frozen, and the energy waves were violently vibrating. Roar, roar, roar. The ice dragon whale roared violently at Wang Feng. Its intelligence was already very high. Although it could not speak in human language, it could clearly transmit information to Wang Feng's mind through its roar. Wang Feng's face darkened. This rhombus-shaped crystal was very special. It gave the ice dragon whale the ability to counterattack. The ice dragon whale's meaning was very simple. You're all finished. There's no chance of survival. Just wait for your death. Ha ha. At the same time, that's the 1,000-spirit ice heart. It's formed from the heart of an ancient ice beast that had cultivated for hundreds of thousands of years. It's because of this 1,000-spirit ice heart that the extreme frost ice cave is here. Qing Qing's words came again, and there was a hint of anxiety in her voice. I see. Wang Feng couldn't help but think. That was most likely a very ancient ice beast. After its death, it had condensed all of its cultivation into its heart, and after undergoing the changes of the sun and moon, it finally formed this myriad spirit ice heart. This kind of supreme treasure was not inferior to the immovable ice fire yin-yang well. And the ice fire yin-yang well couldn't be moved. It was divided into 2 springs at that place. But this 1,000-spirit ice heart could be moved. It was just that it was almost impossible to use it. The ice dragon whale swallowed the crystal in its mouth and barely sealed it. It wanted to absorb the energy within, but it didn't dare to do so. Otherwise, It would be even stronger now. It should be able to absorb the energy bit by bit. The reason why it recovered so quickly from its injuries might be related to this. This thousand-spirit ice heart should be the key to controlling the extreme frost ice cave. It was a pity that the ice dragon whale couldn't use it. Otherwise, with the special terrain of the extreme frost ice cave, if the ice dragon whale could use the thousand-spirit ice heart, Wang Feng and the others wouldn't be able to break in so easily. Soon, the ice dragon whale's body started to freeze, but only the broken half of its body was frozen. Its head was still intact, but Wang Feng could clearly see the madness in its eyes. Wang Feng's body had been tempered by the karmic fire of the Red Lotus, but his soul power was weak now. Layers of frost started to form on his body. Even the ice immunity had no effect on the energy emitted by the myriad spirit ice heart. Once one was frozen, one's life force would decrease rapidly. Death was the only way. This wasn't an ordinary freezing. Wang Feng could clearly feel the life force of Odontosuchus and the others dropping rapidly. But the ice dragon whale couldn't escape death. It could barely control the energy of the thousand-spirit ice heart, but it couldn't withstand the energy. In addition, it was on the verge of death. It couldn't live for long, but it could resist a little because it had been sealed in its body for a long time. Now, how do I get out of this? Inside the ice crystal cage, Qing Miao looked at Wang Feng. Her body was also starting to freeze. But because she was far away, she wasn't as close as Odontosuchus and the others. Furthermore, her bloodline had mutated, so she could resist a little. Qing didn't expect to meet Wang Feng in such a situation. But now, if I'm at rank 49, maybe I'll really die here. At this moment, Wang Feng seemed to think of something. He grinned. Unfortunately, I'm at rank 50. The ice dragon whale seemed to understand what he meant. It snorted and thought that this human was stupid. What was the difference between rank 49 and rank 50? For normal soul masters, there was no difference. But for Wang Feng, there was a huge difference. That was the fifth form of the green lotus. Wang Feng took a deep breath and opened his palm. The chaotic green lotus bloomed. As Wang Feng injected his soul power into it, the lotus head shone brightly. It rose and slowly changed shape in the air. Finally, it formed an ancient cauldron. The body of the cauldron was engraved with the sun, moon, stars, mountains, rivers, and earth. It was extremely mysterious. It was the fifth form of the chaotic green lotus, cauldron of heaven and earth. End of chapter. Chapter 484. The cauldron of heaven and earth was formed from the chaos green lotus. In Wang Feng's memories, this item had many effects. It could refine all things in the world, return to the origin, and even increase the grade of many treasures. Not long ago, when Wang Feng reached rank 50, he did not expect the fifth form of the chaos green lotus to be this cauldron of heaven and earth. At that time, he felt that this item was temporarily useless to him and could not increase his combat strength. Wang Feng did not study it in detail because he had been training with the four fellows. But at this critical moment, Wang Feng suddenly thought of this item. It was said to be able to refine all things in the world and return to the origin. Then what was its actual use? Could it refine this myriad spirit ice heart? According to Wang Feng's deduction, it should be possible, but he had not tried. At this time, Wang Feng had no other way to break this myriad spirit ice heart, unless he ran. But if he ran, would he still be Wang Feng? Impossible. Using what little soul power he had left, he transformed it into the fifth form of the cauldron of heaven and earth. In fact, the first transformation to the fifth form was the most exhausting. Wang Feng used his rank 50 soul power to transform the chaos green lotus into the cauldron of heaven and earth. When the form was revealed and transformed again, it did not require as much soul power. It was just that the consumption of soul power was different in how it was used. Because there was not much soul power left in his body, Wang Feng used the black lotus to replenish it. His body was weak now. Although his body could withstand using the Pangu axe for the time being, he entered a weakened state. So even if he had soul power, he could not use the Pangu axe for the time being. Simply put, he had no soul power, but his body's attributes were greatly reduced. He could only use other methods. And when the cauldron of heaven and earth materialized and appeared in the air, a terrifying suction force came from the cauldron almost instantly. Wang Feng stared at the myriad spirit ice heart and used his mind to drive it. In an instant, the suction force of the cauldron of heaven and earth increased a little. The energy of heaven and earth seemed to gather into a substantial tornado and was sucked into the cauldron. The ice energy emitted by the myriad spirit ice heart was also crazily sucked into the cauldron of heaven and earth. Absorb again. Wang Feng stared at the myriad spirit ice heart and shouted. Because he had not studied it in detail, he was not very proficient in controlling it. As Zhang Xian infused his soul energy into the Qinkuan cauldron, the diagram on the surface of the Qinkuan cauldron glowed slightly, as if it was taking on a real form. The mountains, rivers, plants, the sun, the moon, and the stars on the cauldron began to move slightly, as if they were evolving into a new world. According to Wang Feng's understanding of the 8 trigrams of the Book of Changes, the universe represented the world. Since it was named Qinkuan, it could be seen how powerful the 5th form cauldron of heaven and earth was. The suction force became stronger again. Finally, Wan Lingbing was moved. It wasn't just floating in the air. After all, the ice dragon whale had chased the myriad spirit ice heart out of its body and unsealed it with the intention of dying together with it. This was because it was unable to control the myriad spirit ice heart after it was released. This type of sealing soul skill was extremely powerful, but it had no effect on the same item. It would also be impossible for it to seal the myriad spirit's ice heart again. After all, this was its trump card. If it had known earlier that this human's 4 soul beasts were so strong, it would have summoned them immediately. At that time, even if its subordinates died, it didn't matter as long as it could eliminate the human. Unfortunately, he could only perish together with the other party now. But now, after the cauldron of heaven and earth appeared, the ice dragon whale's eyes widened. When a myriad spirit ice heart was slowly being absorbed into the cauldron of heaven and earth, its huge eyeballs almost popped out of their sockets. This is impossible. The myriad spirit ice heart isn't something that a human soul master like you can control. The ice dragon whale roared furiously. It couldn't understand. Even with its strength, it couldn't refine and absorb the myriad spirit ice heart. It could only be sealed in its body. Why could this human do it? Keep. Wang Feng was elated. This cauldron of heaven and earth is indeed impressive. If I can refine this myriad spirit ice heart into its energy source, I can absorb it. That will be perfect. Wang Fengxin thought to himself. This myriad spirit ice heart contained terrifying energy. It was even more perverse than the ice fire in Yang well. Unfortunately, ordinary living beings couldn't absorb it at all. If the ice dragon whale couldn't absorb it, a rank 50 soul master like him wouldn't be able to either. This wasn't like those immortal herbs. It was a divine item comparable to the ice fire in Yang well. It was a crystal core formed from the heart of a soul beast that was hundreds of thousands of years old. How could it be absorbed so easily? If Wang Feng swallowed it directly, he would probably be frozen into an ice sculpture. However, if the cauldron of heaven and earth could refine the myriad spirit ice heart into its energy source, Wang Feng was confident that he could refine his brain and sternum with the karmic fire of the red lotus. When that happened, his entire body would become one, and his body would reach a higher level. He watched as the myriad spirit ice heart was completely absorbed into the cauldron of heaven and earth. If the ice dragon whale had a human form, it would have turned pale and its eyes would be filled with despair. How could a human be able to control such a divine object? Wasn't his martial soul an axe? Now, what the hell was this? The ice dragon whale couldn't understand. Its life had been turned upside down. At this moment, Wang Feng could feel the changes in the cauldron. He smiled. This was because he could clearly feel that the myriad spirit ice heart was being refined by the cauldron of heaven and earth. However, it would take a long time. This myriad spirit ice heart was too strong, and he was too weak now. As the myriad spirit ice heart was absorbed into the cauldron of heaven and earth, the ice on Odontosukis and the other four soul beasts started to melt. After a while, the four soul beasts returned to their original state. I'm freezing to death. The blizzard crocodile shivered. Wang Feng guessed that the freezing effect of the myriad spirit ice heart didn't only affect the physical body, but also the mind. Otherwise, how could the blizzard crocodile say such words when the temperature of the ice on its body was already very low? After the ice on its body was removed, the ice dragon whale was in good spirits. After all, it had the strongest resistance. The demonic emperor Kuan was huge. Although it was turned into an ice city, it wasn't a big deal. It had a strong life force. Compared to it, the seven-tailed thunder spirit fox was much weaker. Its resistance to ice was the worst. Logically speaking, it wasn't easy for it to live in the extreme north. The seven-tailed thunder spirit fox was a pure, lightning-type creature. It was just an ordinary spirit fox before. In Wang Feng's impression, spirit foxes were like Ivan in Pokemon. Other than looking good, they were useless. However, after evolving, they could change into different forms. This was their biggest characteristic. However, Wang Feng's nickname, Iron Fox, was not for show. At this moment, it was the most heavily injured. It dragged its body and walked step by step to the ice dragon whale that had already landed on the ground of the ice cauldron of absolute frost. Odontosukis and the cowardly Kuan were shocked. At the same time, the ice dragon whale walked to the front of the ice dragon whale. End of chapter. Chapter 485. It's you, little bastard. You're actually not dead? The ice dragon whale looked at the ice Kira and said with a weak voice. Wang Feng felt that these words were familiar. Shin Bing didn't say anything and started to ravage the ice dragon whale. The ice dragon whale was extremely tenacious. Its body was about to break into two, but it still wasn't dead. Don't kill it, the Iron Fox said slowly. Boss Feng needs its soul ring to break through the bottleneck. Don't worry, I'm not willing to kill it like this. The ice Kira let out a low growl. The Iron Fox. Immediately after, miserable cries could be heard from the entire extreme frost ice cave. It was as if the entire extreme frost ice cave was trembling violently. Wang Feng smiled. While recovering, he continued to use the Cauldron of Universe to refine the myriad spirit ice heart. After that, he asked Odontosukis to carry him to the ice crystal cage. Boss Feng, what's your relationship with Goddess Qing Huang? The violent snow crocodile asked naively. Don't tell me you really. Odontosukis still remembered clearly that 1.5 years ago, it was because he took out Qing Huang Er's feather that Boss Feng changed his attitude and said that he wanted to deal with the ice dragon whale. He remembered that he was shocked at that time. Now, he finally found Qing Huang Er. Don't tell me Boss Feng is really going to Pa. Wang Feng slapped him on the head, causing his head to tilt to the side. The violent snow crocodile, Wang Feng couldn't be bothered with Odontosukis. He broke the ice crystal cage with a punch. After losing the myriad spirit ice heart, the ice crystal cage became much weaker. From this, it could be seen how important the myriad spirit ice heart was to the extreme frost ice cave. It was equivalent to the activation of the core. Without the myriad spirit ice heart, this place would probably slowly degenerate. Just like the ice fire Yin Yang well, without the two springs, it would also degenerate rapidly. Wang Feng walked into this huge cage and looked at little Qing in front of him. His eyes were filled with yearning and vicissitudes. From a little green bird to a big green bird, and then to the current Qing Huang Er. The changes were earth-shattering. She had become bigger, stronger, and more beautiful. But at this moment, Qing Huang was lying limp on the ground. Wang Feng suddenly recalled the first time he had met this little blue bird. In order to save a few chicks, this little green bird was almost eaten by a snake. Of course, she did not give birth to the baby bird. She was just passing by and standing on the branch. The next time he met her, she was severely injured and lying on the ground. At that time, his martial soul had just awakened. In order to test the first form of the Golden Lotus, he treated her. Presumably, her spiritual intelligence had already been awakened, right? The second time he met her, she was seriously injured and lying in the woods, as if she was trying to blackmail him. Now, history is always shockingly similar. Look at yourself. Wang Feng squatted down grumpily and touched the feathers on the little green bird's head. He gently combed the messy feathers that were frozen just now. He ran away with the two little fellows. There's no news at all. Wang Feng helped the little green bird comb its feathers while scolding it. You even ran so far away. After raising her for a few years, her temperament had become more and more unruly. Now, those two little fellows had gotten into trouble. Fortunately, they still have consciousness, and I still have a chance to revive them. If they're really gone, then you. Wang Feng scolded as he spoke. Chirp, chirp, chirp. The little green bird cried out twice with some grievance. In fact, she did not know how to speak human language because Wang Feng did not teach her at that time. She only used calls to communicate with spiritual consciousness. That was because her cultivation was not that high yet. Listening to this familiar call, Wang Feng shook his head again. The violent snow crocodile outside was stunned. Qing Huang was a goddess. She was not afraid of anything, not even the ice dragon whale. At this moment, she was actually being reprimanded by Boss Feng. Could it be that Qing Huang was also Boss Feng's? The violent snow crocodile had never seen Qing Huang like this. Since Qing Huang came to the extreme north, many soul beasts had a strong, proud, noble, and inviolable feeling. When fighting, she was also very fierce and very protective. If one was not careful, they would be directly exterminated. It could be said that she was extremely fierce. But now don't. In the violent snow crocodile's knowledge, who was qualified to touch goddess Qing Huang not to mention touching her so intimately right now. Moreover, goddess Qing Huang's eyes were filled with enjoyment and a little shyness. Goddess Qing Huang, your bird setting is broken. Wang Feng also knew that he could not blame the little green bird because when the three of them left, although the little green bird took the lead, Yiya and the Star Moon Fox suggested it. As Yiya was of the ice attribute, she felt that she was about to evolve, so she wanted to cultivate in a world of ice and snow. Therefore, Qing Qing and Xing Xing hit it off and brought Yiya to various places. There was no lack of various battles with soul beasts and even humans. After a few months of searching, the three of them finally came to the extreme north. The moment they arrived, Yiya fell in love with this place. The three of them then helped Yiya to cultivate and evolve here. Therefore, there was the matter after that. After hearing this, Wang Feng let out a long sigh. I don't blame you. Wang Feng stood up. At this time, Qing Qing had almost recovered and stood up too. Compared to a few years ago, she had changed too much. As soon as she stood up, she hugged Wang Feng with her wings. Master, I miss you so much, Wang Feng nodded. I guess I'm right. It seems that I didn't raise her for nothing. However, the next sentence made Wang Feng speechless. Especially when I'm injured. Woo-woo, it hurts so much. Wang Feng, so you want me to use the golden lotus to heal you, right? Wang Feng glared at Qing Qing. Hee. Actually, I've been thinking about it every day. Originally, I wanted to bring the two of them back after they evolved. But I didn't expect to encounter what happened after that. You taught me not to be a coward. Just do it. Qing Qing snorted and said, This idiot whale is too hateful. They want me to submit to it. I've been master's bird for a long time. As soon as he said that, Wang Feng immediately interrupted him. Wait, Qing Qing, don't say that last sentence in the future. If you want to say it, please change the bird into a human. Qing Qing flicked the feathers on her head and blinked. But I can't turn into a human yet. I can't say that. Okay. The violent snow crocodile was outside the ice crystal cage, watching goddess Qing Huang, and Boss Feng having all kinds of intimate contact. That beautiful chirping sound made the violent snow crocodile feel like it was the sound of a fairy. However, he finally understood what was going on. Obviously, goddess Qing Huang had been Boss Feng's soul beast for a long time. It seems that my status will be pushed back again. The violent snow crocodile was a little sad. At this time, the ice Kira and the thunder spiritual fox had also finished venting. Wang Feng and Qing Qing chatted for a while and slowly walked towards the ice dragon whale. It was time to absorb the fifth soul ring. P.S. It may be after the new year that the update will be restored. End of this chapter. Chapter 486. Right now, the ice dragon whale didn't even have the strength to howl. The combination of the ice Kira and the thunder spiritual fox had drained its last bit of strength. As it watched Wang Feng walk over, the ice dragon whale could only stare at him with a mocking look in its eyes. A rank 50 soul master wants to absorb my 90,000-year soul ring? That's impossible. The ice dragon whale stared at Wang Feng with hatred in its eyes. Its eyes were bloodshot. It wanted to maximize its willpower. Even if it was killed by this soul master, it wanted to preserve its willpower in the soul ring so that it wouldn't be destroyed by the willpower in the soul ring. Be careful, Boss Feng. The thunder spiritual fox walked over and said, "This beast's willpower is immense. It's filled with hatred for you. You have to be very careful when you absorb its soul ring." Although it wasn't human and didn't know how soul masters cultivated, it knew that it was very dangerous to absorb the ice dragon whale. Wang Feng nodded. He was probably the person this ice dragon whale hated the most. However, Wang Feng wasn't afraid at all. Although the cauldron of heaven and earth was refining the myriad spirit ice heart, and he couldn't use the black lotus to absorb the ice dragon whale's ruthless resentment, Wang Feng had the dark angel martial soul, so he could absorb it. It might even strengthen the dark angel martial soul. This was because Wang Feng felt that the dark angel martial soul hadn't been developed yet. Although the dark angel martial soul was more sensitive to various emotions and had a wider range, it only increased its attributes by less than 2 times. It only had various deterrence effects on enemies, and it was equivalent to weakening the enemy's strength. However, the dark angel martial soul could become stronger. Furthermore, Wang Feng felt that the growth of the dark angel martial soul wasn't as simple as absorbing soul rings. It needed specific opportunities to grow, otherwise it wouldn't have taken so long to awaken. Furthermore, it was awakened under the guidance of the soul-slaying spear. Perhaps it needs to absorb the aura of various negative emotions, Wang Fengxin pondered. This was Wang Feng's guess. This shouldn't be a simple dark-type, martial soul. He could tell from the 6 pairs of wings. Wang Feng walked over and formed a sharp blade with a mysterious underworld spike. He stabbed it into the ice dragon whale's head. Roar! The ice dragon whale let out an indignant roar before it slowly closed its eyes. Its black and red soul rings slowly lit up. When he saw this soul ring, Wang Feng knew that this ice dragon whale was only 2,000 years away from becoming a true 100,000-year soul beast. It really wasn't easy. Wang Feng sighed softly. It really wasn't easy. If Wang Feng hadn't subdued Odanosukis and the other 3, he might have been the one lying on the ground right now. If Wang Feng's 5th form wasn't the cauldron of heaven and earth, the best outcome would be for Wang Feng to flee. At level 50, he had struck the ice dragon whale 7 times with the Pangu axe, but he still couldn't kill it. One could only imagine how strong this fellow was. It was only after 2 years of cultivation that he was able to achieve what he had today. It wasn't easy to obtain this 90,000-year soul ring. This was especially true for a mere rank 50 soul master. If news of his plan to kill one of the 5 overlords of the extreme north were to spread, many people and soul beasts would be shocked to the core. At this moment, the 4 soul beasts were surrounding Wang Feng. The largest cowardly Kuan was flying above the ice cavern. The ice Kira was leaning against the ice walls of the cavern, staring at the corpse of the ice dragon whale. It was waiting for Wang Feng to absorb the soul ring so that it could be crushed into ashes. The thunder spirit fox was already observing the environment of the ice cavern. Qing Qing ran not far from Wang Feng and looked at him seriously. From time to time, she would wave her tail elegantly to shake off the dew on her feathers. After the ice heart of 10,000 souls was absorbed by the cauldron of heaven and earth, the temperature of the ice cavern began to rise. However, because the temperature of the ice cavern was extremely low, it wouldn't melt quickly. Wang Feng didn't hesitate. He released his dark angel and entered a state of possession. He didn't have to worry about being sensed if he used it in the extreme north. This was because the environment here was too special. The myriad Elephant Valley was filled with unique terrains. If a soul master didn't enter, their senses would be blocked. Qian Rinchue's dark angel wouldn't be able to sense him either. In addition, this place was very far away from the Heaven Do Empire. The four soul beasts trembled at the sight of the dark angel and turned their attention to Wang Feng. Wang Feng had never used his dark angel in front of them before. This was their first time seeing it. Even Qing was seeing it for the first time. She blinked and looked at Wang Feng. She felt that he was a little unfamiliar. This was because his aura had changed too much. Every time Wang Feng used his dark angel, his aura would become extremely evil, dark, cold, and evil. This was especially true for the 6 pairs of pitch-black wings behind his back. When they flapped slightly, they exuded a cold and evil aura. The most terrifying thing was Wang Feng's upper body. Because he had just used the Pango axe, Wang Feng's upper body was naked. One could clearly see that there were 7 flowing blood-colored black patterns on his upper body. They converged at his heart from 7 different positions. They seemed to be channeling into his core. There was a faint energy flowing slowly. It was very strange. Wang Feng touched them. He could vaguely feel that there was a special energy flowing in these 7 blood-colored patterns. However, he didn't know what this energy represented. The 4 soul beasts looked at Wang Feng with fear in their eyes. It was a kind of instinctive fear. Wang Feng sat cross-legged beside the ice dragon whale's corpse. He took a deep breath as he looked at the huge soul ring. He closed his eyes and used his soul power to guide the soul ring. After rank 50, Wang Feng felt that his soul power was increasing at an extremely slow rate. Using the meteoric tear to compress and purify his soul power would become slower and slower. He didn't know how many ranks this 90,000-year soul ring could give him. When the ice dragon whale's soul ring landed on Wang Feng's body, a huge energy storm was suddenly released from Wang Feng's body. The energy within the soul ring surged into Wang Feng's body like a tsunami. Streaks of ferocious and terrifying consciousness roared furiously at Wang Feng from the soul ring. It was the ice dragon whale's consciousness, which was filled with extreme hatred and resentment. If one were to stand outside and watch, a huge projection of the ice dragon whale appeared from Wang Feng's body. It was drifting unpredictably. At this moment, it was facing Wang Feng, who was sitting cross-legged on the ground. It opened its bloody mouth and roared furiously, as if it wanted to eat Wang Feng. When the 4 soul beasts saw this scene, they couldn't take their eyes off him. There was worry in their eyes. Evidently, this was formed by the ice dragon whale's consciousness. A soul beast like the ice dragon whale was too strong. Its consciousness after death was far from what ordinary soul masters could withstand. It was a soul beast that was infinitely close to 100,000 years. Roar, roar, roar. The ice dragon whale's consciousness roared crazily at Wang Feng. Every roar seemed to be able to destroy a person's consciousness. Boss Feng will be fine, right? The blizzard crocodile was a little uneasy. He won't be. The ice dragon whale's consciousness roared furiously at the ice dragon whale's consciousness. However, it didn't have any effect. It was as if it only had Wang Feng in its eyes. No one else could feel it. End of chapter. Chapter 487. Boss Feng hasn't taught me how to sing yet, so I'm sure nothing will happen. The cowardly Kuan let out a soft roar, causing a cloud of smoke to appear in the air. Boss Feng's mysterious martial spirit is the key. The thunder spiritual fox looked at the 6 pairs of black wings on Wang Feng's back and said in a deep voice, Boss Feng used this martial spirit to deal with the consciousness of the ice dragon whale. Otherwise, with Boss Feng's intelligence, he would never do something meaningless. If Wang Feng was awake, he would definitely praise the thunder spirit fox. Qing didn't say anything. She only spread her feathers and released a gentle aura that wrapped around Wang Feng. It seemed like she wanted to reduce the pressure on him. Qing Qing's current strength was actually very strong. Her cultivation was around 40,000 years, which was weaker than the cowardly Kuan. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been captured by the ice dragon whale in the past 2 years. If she didn't want to explore the ice cave of extreme cold, she would still be outside. At this moment, as the ice dragon whale roared, a human figure slowly emerged from Wang Feng's body. This figure was 90% similar to Wang Feng. It had 6 pairs of black wings on its back, and it held a pitch-black, demonic sword in its hand. Its long hair danced in the wind, and it had a majestic figure. It was the true form of the Dark Angel martial spirit. The moment the Dark Angel appeared, the ice dragon whale stopped roaring. It was like a mouse meeting a cat. The 4 beasts. Next, the mysterious Dark Angel waved its sword and shattered the ice dragon whale's figure into pieces. It opened its other hand and sucked. The consciousness of the ice dragon whale was sucked into its palm like a gust of wind. At the same time, the first pair of black wings behind Wang Feng suddenly lit up. The first blood pattern also lit up as if it was charged with energy. It was obvious that the first blood pattern had lit up because it had completely absorbed the ice dragon whale's soul consciousness. When the first blood pattern and the wings on Wang Feng's back lit up, the space around them seemed to freeze. Suddenly, the space around them seemed to have solidified. The 4 beasts suddenly froze. They seemed to have fallen into an endless rage and lost their minds. Even Qing Qing's beautiful eyes were a little confused. "Get 100 meters away from me." At this moment, Wang Feng spoke slowly with his eyes closed. Hearing this, the 4 soul beasts forced themselves to push away. Only then did they heave a sigh of relief and look at Wang Feng in shock. At this moment, Wang Feng's surroundings seemed to have formed a mysterious aura similar to the demonic sovereign Kuan. Although the range was not large, the effect was extremely terrifying. All 5 of them were affected. That feeling was as if he had lost himself. Clearly, the Dark Angel martial soul had begun to truly awaken. However, even though Wang Feng could sense it clearly, his mind was completely immersed in absorbing the soul ring. The soul power contained within a soul ring that was close to 100,000-year soul ring was simply too enormous. If Wang Feng wanted to absorb such a soul ring, he wouldn't be able to withstand it with his current physique. Thankfully, the Dark Angel martial soul had absorbed the ice dragon whale's spiritual consciousness, and Wang Feng was able to control its enormous soul power. Most of the energy within the soul ring was channeled into the cauldron of heaven and earth so that the cauldron could enter its true mature stage. At the same time, it could also speed up the refinement of the myriad spirit ice heart. With his current strength, it was unknown how long it would take to drive the cauldron of heaven and earth to refine the myriad spirit's ice heart. After all, this thing was a little exaggerated. Wang Feng didn't want to completely refine the myriad spirit's ice heart. He only wanted to refine a part of it so that he could ensure that he could absorb it. After refining the other part, it would become a little weaker. Wang Feng could place the myriad spirit's ice heart in the spirit cave of extreme frost to continue to maximize its potential. Furthermore, after refining a part of it, the myriad spirit's ice heart wouldn't be as strong, and he should be able to control it. In the future, the ice cave of extreme frost could be used as a base camp for Odontasuchus and the others. They could cultivate rapidly here. Absorbing all of the myriad spirit's ice heart in one go was like killing the goose that lays the golden eggs. Wang Feng didn't want to do that. It was impossible to absorb all of it. This was because he would use the red lotus karmic fire to temper his sternum and brain later. He only needed a part of the special energy contained within the myriad spirit's ice heart. As the soul ring surged into the cauldron of heaven and earth, the cauldron of heaven and earth shone even brighter. As its owner, Wang Feng could clearly sense that the refining speed of the myriad spirit's ice heart had increased by a lot. The most important thing was that while the cauldron of heaven and earth was refining, it was also slowly changing. First, The cauldron's body became several times larger, and there were more patterns on its surface. Not only were there mountains, rivers, and plants, but there were also many creatures carved on it. It was as if it formed a painting of the Qingming riverside. He could even feel it moving. Although Wang Feng didn't open his eyes, he could clearly sense it. This was the sign of the cauldron of heaven and earth being complete. Just like the previous four forms, after obtaining the soul ring, it would become complete. After becoming complete, Wang Feng could clearly see a string of information in his sea of consciousness. In a month, the refining of the myriad spirits' ice heart will be completed. This information was automatically transmitted by the cauldron of heaven and earth. Most importantly, Wang Feng could control the degree of refinement. For example, Wang Feng could clearly sense that the myriad spirits' ice heart in the cauldron was slowly transforming into another pure energy ice crystal. It was like two prismatic crystals that revolved around the cauldron of heaven and earth. Refine 1/3. Wang Feng's thoughts moved. This was because Wang Feng felt that 1/3 would be enough to temper his brain and skull. There might even be some left over. After giving the order, the cauldron of heaven and earth spun rapidly. Occasionally, it would emit bursts of light as the refining speed increased. Without the energy in the soul ring to complete the cauldron of heaven and earth, it might not even be possible to refine the myriad spirits' ice heart in 10 months, let alone a month. At the same time, Wang Feng used the remaining energy in the soul ring to temper his body. There is only about 30% of the energy left in the soul ring, and 70% was used to mature the cauldron of heaven and earth. However, even if it was only 30%, it was more than enough for Wang Feng to refine. The ice-cold soul power seeped into his limbs and bones. Finally, it entered the meteoric tear in his heart and compressed it into his own soul power. Just like that, the cauldron of heaven and earth slowly refined the myriad spirits' ice heart, while Wang Feng used the remaining energy in the soul ring to temper his body and cultivate his soul power. Unknowingly, 10 days had passed. The four soul beasts repaired the damaged spirit cavern of extreme cold while guarding Wang Feng. Qing naturally became the eldest sister of the four soul beasts. She also chatted with the four soul beasts about what had happened over the past 2 years. Sister Qing, I'm not bragging, but you didn't see how anxious Boss was when he heard about you. Odontosukis flew in mid-air and flattered. Boss Feng couldn't wait to kill his way into the inner circle to find the ice dragon whale. You can see how much he cares about you. Qing Huang chuckled. Light flashed in her eyes as she smiled gently. If all of you were in the same situation as me, Master would do the same. Although Odontosukis heard Qing's words, he could feel that she was even happier. End of chapter. Chapter 488. Now that we have eliminated the ice dragon whale, the 5 overlords of the inner circle will be ours in the future, right? At this moment, the thunder spiritual fox suddenly asked, Boss Feng is one of the 5 overlords of the inner circle. The news hasn't spread out yet, but sooner or later, all the soul beasts in the inner circle will know about it. Brother Iron Fox, what are you trying to say? Odontosukis glanced at the thunder spiritual fox. Should we think of a name for Boss Feng? The thunder spiritual fox said, After all, the 5 overlords are all extraordinary. We have to settle down here in the future, right? Without a good name, it won't be good if everyone comes to find trouble with us. A good name could deter the soul beasts. Makes sense. Bing Jira nodded. Its huge body sat on the ground, spread its legs, and supported its head with its claws. Then what should we call it? I will go first. Odontosukis raised one hand. Boss Feng likes to use a spear. How about Wind Thunder Spearlord? Isn't it super nice? This is the first human overlord in the extreme north. It doesn't sound nice. Bing Jira waved its hand and interrupted. Boss Feng has a pair of blood wings, and his fighting strength is amazing. How about Blood-Devouring Wild Maple? If Wang Feng heard these nicknames now, he would have goosebumps. No. At this moment, the cowardly Kuan in the air said, Boss Feng's singing is very nice, and it can shake my soul. This is what he is best at. So, It should be Soul Song Lord. What kind of names did you guys come up with? The Thunder Spiritual Fox couldn't help but cover its ears. It's too bad. Boss Phone won't agree. Then say it. Odontosuchus, Bing Jira, and Cowardly Cohen all looked at the Thunder Spiritual Fox. I feel that in the future, Boss Phone will have more soul beasts under his command, the Thunder Spiritual Fox said with longing. Boss Phone, with a human body, can become the boss of countless soul beasts. He can make a soul beast evolve and become stronger and walk towards glory. In the future, he will create an unprecedented legend. How about Beast Emperor? In fact, the Thunder Spiritual Fox's idea wasn't wrong. The other 3 soul beasts thought about it carefully. Boss Phone is mysterious and special. Although he is a human, he can lead soul beasts and give them unimaginable evolution and growth. In the future, he will change the environment of the soul beasts. He would definitely have a bunch of loyal soul beasts as his subordinates. This, I'm afraid, Cowardly Cohen said in a low voice. The 2 people in the core area of the inner circle are both called emperors. Wouldn't this violate their taboo? Isn't this putting Boss Phone in the future? If we don't handle this well, we might attract the hatred of many soul beasts in the inner circle. When that happens, we'll be in trouble. Furthermore, Boss Phone is still a human. Humans and beasts are different. Many ancient and powerful soul beasts don't like humans. At this point, the Cowardly Cohen stopped talking. Wang Feng's strength and mysteriousness were obvious to all. Actually, there is no point in saying all this. At this moment, Qing Qing shook her head. Master won't stay here for long. He is a human. Maybe he will leave the extreme north after he settles things here. He needs to return to human society. I've been by his side since I was young. I understand him. Qing Qing was right. She was the first soul beast that Wang Feng raised. In the beginning, she wasn't even a soul beast. She was just an ordinary bird. She slowly became a soul beast. After she gained intelligence, Qing Qing stayed by Wang Feng's side for the longest time. She had a deeper understanding of Wang Feng. Hearing this, the 4 soul beasts were stunned. They didn't think about this. They thought that Wang Feng would stay. At this moment, Wang Feng suddenly opened his eyes. The energy undulations around him started to weaken. Wang Feng absorbed all of it into his body. Wang Feng's body started to glow. It was as if he was cultivating a divine skill. Then, he slowly returned to normal. Wang Feng opened his eyes. A few streaks of light flashed. Then he calmed down. Soul Power, rank 53. The remaining 30% of energy allowed Wang Feng's soul power to increase by 3 ranks. After rank 50, it was indeed harder to increase one's soul power. Wang Feng had finally become a soul king. He was much stronger. His soul skills in the first 4 forms had been strengthened to varying degrees. His physique had also become stronger, and his soul power had also increased. If Wang Feng were to face those 2 rank 92 titled Dalu again, he would definitely be able to kill them with a single mind-severing strike. Even if they didn't die, they would be crippled. As long as they weren't rank 94 transcendent Dalu, they weren't much of a threat to Wang Feng. Even if they were transcendent Dalu, like the rank 95 Ghost Dalu, Wang Feng wouldn't be afraid. They couldn't do anything to him. If he used the Pangu axe, even a transcendent Dalu might not be able to withstand it. In fact, the 5th form of the Cauldron of Heaven and Earth didn't increase Wang Feng's fighting strength by much. However, Wang Feng knew that the Cauldron of Heaven and Earth wasn't inferior to any other form. In fact, the Cauldron of Heaven and Earth might even be an opportunity for him to change. As for the specifics, Wang Feng would test them out later. After Wang Feng used the karmic fire of the Red Lotus to temper his brain and sternum, his body wouldn't become much stronger, but his cultivation speed would definitely soar. There were many other mysteries, but Wang Feng could only understand them after he finished tempering them. Apart from that, there was also the evolution of his dark angel martial soul. Wang Feng didn't have time to feel it yet, but he was sure that it had become much stronger. After tempering his body, Wang Feng settled the matters in the Myriad Elephant Valley. Ching Ching and the other four fellows planned to set off for the city of Massacre. Boss Feng, you're finally awake. We're giving you a title. Odantasukis flew over. As he spoke, he told Wang Feng the titles that the few of them had given him. After hearing this, Wang Feng was speechless. They're all terrible. Wind Lightning Spear Owner, Blood-Sucking Wild Maple, Soul Singer, Beast Emperor, Mother of Asterisk. What the hell is going on in these guys' heads? Boss Feng, Sister Ching said that you're about to leave, but you have to leave a title. Otaku Alligator chuckled. You should just pick one out of the four. Otherwise, as one of the five overlords, Boss Feng, you have to have a resounding name. At this moment, Ching Ching suddenly said, How about Emperor Ching? Wang Feng. You're naming yourself, right? The name Emperor Ching might be cliché, but it suits you. What does it have to do with me? Wang Feng glanced at Ching Ching and found that she was looking at him with bright eyes. Emperor Ching is more suitable for you. Ching Ching. Wang Feng yawned. As for me, if you really want a title, I'll be called, Dr. Soul Beast. Ching Ching. The four fellows, why is this name so weird? Not to mention Odanasukis and the other three, even Ching Ching couldn't understand. But looking at Wang Feng's decisive tone, it would probably be hard to change it. Then, Wang Feng looked at the cauldron of heaven and earth that had been refined and waved his hand. Two crystal edges flew out from the cauldron. One of them was still the myriad spirit ice heart, but its power was much weaker now. The other was a colorless crystal edge. This was the pure energy formed by the cauldron of heaven and earth, refining the myriad spirit ice heart. The myriad spirit ice heart was refined into the purest energy in the world. It could be absorbed by any living thing. Unlike the myriad spirit ice heart, it couldn't be absorbed. Wang Feng turned this colorless crystal edge into a soul crystal. P.S. There are 4 or 5 more updates tonight. End of chapter. Chapter 489. Soul Crystal. Wang Feng didn't know if there were any similar energy crystals in the Douluo world. Theoretically speaking, although the Douluo world wasn't big, it was possible for such things to appear, just that they hadn't been discovered yet. This was because it wasn't impossible for such crystals to be formed naturally. However, Wang Feng knew that even if it was formed naturally, it wouldn't be better than the one refined by the cauldron of heaven and earth. Furthermore, it was refined from the 10,000 spirit ice heart. There definitely wouldn't be a second soul crystal like this in this world. Compared to the 10,000 spirit ice heart, this soul crystal was more orderly and beautiful, as if it had been carefully polished. Because it had been refined by the cauldron of heaven and earth, it didn't have as violent ice energy as the 10,000 spirit ice heart. On the contrary, it was very gentle, giving people the feeling that they wanted to hold it. Its beautiful shape was so beautiful that people couldn't bear to destroy it. A certain amount of time was needed to absorb this kind of soul crystal. The advantage was that it could be stored in a living creature's body and slowly absorbed for cultivation. The energy of the 10,000 spirit ice heart has weakened by a lot. Ching Ching blinked her eyes. It won't cause any harm to us. Master, how did you do it? They had experienced the strength of the 10,000 spirit ice heart. The moment the ice dragon whale took it out, they were all frozen and their life force rapidly decreased. Now that the 10,000 spirit ice heart was taken out from the small cauldron, it actually split into 2 crystal edges. Wang Feng smiled slightly. This 10,000 spirit ice heart is no longer dangerous. Now that this 10,000 spirit ice heart is no longer dangerous, I will put it back in the absolute cold ice cave. When the time comes, this place will still be the same. When the time comes, you can cultivate in this place. There are many natural treasures here, so your cultivation should increase very quickly. The Four Extremities Nature Manifestation Valley was a huge paradise in the extreme north, and its interior was extremely unusual. If soul bees cultivated here for a long time, their cultivation would increase very quickly. Boss Feng, I have seen all these natural treasures. The thunder spiritual fox shook its head. Although these treasures are very good, most of them aren't suitable for us to absorb. Many of them contain extremely strong, cold poison. Once we consume too much of them, it will affect our foundation. This was indeed the case. The two immortal grade supreme treasures that Tang San had absorbed both contained extremely potent toxins, but Tang San just so happened to neutralize the toxins before using the ice fire yin yang well to refine them. As a result, the toxins had reached a delicate balance, allowing him to absorb the medicinal power of the two immortal herbs. Otherwise, the ice dragon whale might be even stronger than it was now. That beast clearly understood this as well. It did not dare to carelessly consume these heavenly treasures. Otherwise, if it was accidentally poisoned, what would it do if it lost all of its cultivation of more than 90,000 years? What if he could never improve? Basically, it had consumed everything that could be consumed. There were many things that it could not use or was not sure about, so it would not consume them. This was one of the reasons why the ice dragon whale was able to attract so many soul beasts despite its notoriety. But what was left was basically poisonous. Apparently, the thunder spiritual fox had already observed the situation beforehand. Don't worry, Wang Feng smiled. This was where the might of the cauldron of heaven and earth could be seen. Wang Feng would be able to use the cauldron of heaven and earth to refine these poisonous herbs and ice crystals that contain special energies into the purest soul crystals. Those poisons would naturally be turned into ashes. Wang Feng could guarantee that the strength of these four soul beasts would definitely increase rapidly. These soul crystals were refined by the cauldron of heaven and earth. There were no side effects, and they could even strengthen one's foundation. But with Wang Feng's current strength, it was not realistic to use the cauldron of heaven and earth to refine a large amount of them. It would take a lot of time, but it would not take long for Wang Feng to refine these four soul beasts. This is called a soul crystal. Wang Feng held the soul crystal in one hand and the myriad spirit ice heart in the other. He introduced, "When I leave, I will refine 4 of these heavenly treasures and give them to you. They contain the purest energy in the world. You will be able to absorb them easily without any poison." The colorless soul crystal seemed to be transparent and emitted a faint light. Once one stared at it, they would be immersed in it. They would be attracted by the incomparably pure energy. Treasure. This word appeared in the minds of the 4 soul beasts at the same time. As soul beasts, they were naturally very sensitive to the energy of heaven and earth. Almost instantly, the soul crystal attracted them. "Master, what about me?" When Qing Qing heard Wang Feng say that he would only refine 4, she could not help but pout. "Your bloodline has undergone a mutation. I will refine 1 for you alone," Wang Feng said. Qing Qing had followed him for 5 years after all. She had changed the most. Wang Feng was not sure how much her bloodline had changed, so he naturally had to give her special treatment. Wang Feng did not want to suddenly hear that Qing Qing was gone. He did not say that he was impartial. Furthermore, according to the differences between Odanisukis and the other 3, Wang Feng had a follow-up plan. Upon hearing this, Qing Qing immediately chirped happily. Odanisukis could not help but think to himself, "Boss Feng is only doting on you. Shenbing, Iron Fox, and Kuan Kuan, we big uncouth fellows, TSK TSK." Of course, Odanisukis was just thinking about it. In fact, he knew why Wang Feng did this. Because Qing Huang's ability was very special. She had the effect of amplifying a group of soul beasts. She also had a strong fighting strength. When fighting with her, any soul beast would be stimulated and their fighting strength would soar. This was somewhat similar to Wang Feng's Golden Lotus, but the difference was huge. Qing Huang's Dark North Aura was similar to the demonic Emperor Kuan's Dark North Aura. Of course, it was limited to soul beasts. If it was a human, it would have the opposite effect. If a human soul master stepped in her aura, he would lose the will to fight. This was a very powerful ability. It was not inferior to the Dark North Aura of the demonic Emperor Kuan. It was even stronger. Because after such a battle, the soul beast's potential would slowly be excavated and become stronger. It was a slow and benign improvement, perhaps because she had been injected with the origin energy of the golden lotus too many times. Qing Huang also had this ability. There was a faint golden lotus imprint on her forehead. This was also the reason why Qing Huang could quickly gather a group of soul beasts when she came to the outer circle of the extreme north. Beauty was part of it. What was more special was that she had this ability. Otherwise, with the temperament of soul beasts, why would they follow a green bird for no reason? The ice dragon whale wanted to make Qing Huang submit to it because it knew that Qing Huang had this ability. Otherwise, the ice dragon whale was a dignified overlord-class soul beast. What kind of beautiful soul beast could it not want? Why was it so obsessed with Qing Huang? Among the 4 soul beasts, only the blizzard crocodile knew a little about Qing Huang. However, he had never stayed by her side, so he was not clear. He only knew that goddess Qing Huang had a mysterious ability that made many soul beasts follow her willingly. End of chapter. Chapter 490. In the past 10 days, the 4 soul beasts were willing to acknowledge Qing Huang as their big sister after understanding each other. Because wasn't this the weakened Boss Feng? Boss Feng's golden flower had the ability to stimulate the potential of soul beasts, causing them to evolve and even mutate. And the effect was obvious. After a few months of training with Wang Feng, there would be obvious results. Qing Huang's special aura could stimulate the potential of soul beasts. Of course, the effect wasn't as abnormal as the golden lotus, but soul beasts had long lives. If they stayed with her for a long time, there would be a lot of changes. If they stayed with her for a long time, 5 to 10 years, their potential would reach a limit and they might even evolve and mutate. Most importantly, Qing Huang's strength was also very strong. She wasn't just a tool bird. This was the most powerful thing. After Wang Feng learned about Qing's special ability, he wasn't too surprised. After Qing became a 100,000-year soul beast, she would form a special domain. At that time, she would be even stronger. Although it was far from being comparable to the golden lotus, it was still exaggerated enough. Therefore, Odonisuchus and the others understood Wang Feng's actions. "Oh right, Boss Feng." At this moment, the ice Kira suddenly pulled out a string of glowing things from its back and said, "When you were absorbing the soul ring, the thunder spirit fox, and I turned the corpse of the ice dragon whale into ashes. Then we found this. It should be a soul bone. You should need it." Soul bone. Wang Feng was stunned. Only then did he remember that the ice dragon whale was close to a 100,000-year soul beast. The probability of it dropping a soul bone was very high. It's a pity that it's only a 90,000-year soul bone, Wang Fengxin thought to himself. It was a torso bone. To be precise, it was a sternum. It was connected to the spine and emitted an icy blue luster. A 100,000-year soul bone was very different from a 90,000-year soul bone. Just the soul skill alone was one more. It was also enhanced in other aspects. But right at this moment, Wang Feng suddenly had a shocking thought. Wang Feng looked at the heaven and earth cauldron in his hand and was stunned. "Boss Feng, are you not going to absorb this soul bone?" Odonisuchus asked. Wang Feng took a deep breath and activated his soul power again to make the heaven and earth cauldron bigger. "Shenbing, throw this soul bone in," Wang Feng said slowly. Shenbing was stunned for a moment before she threw the torso bone into the cauldron of heaven and earth. "Boss Feng, what are you trying to do?" the thunder spiritual fox asked curiously. Wang Feng smiled and said, "You'll know soon enough." As he spoke, Wang Feng retrieved another torso bone from his soul tool. That was right. It really was the torso bone of the blood-winged dragon beetle. As this torso bone was only 60,000 years old, Wang Feng had never wanted to use it. Then now, it's time to witness a miracle. Wang Feng's eyes sparkled. Then, he threw the torso bone into the cauldron. "Let me see, cauldron of heaven and earth. Your ability is not limited to this." In primordial legends, the cauldron of heaven and earth had many uses. It could even increase the quality of treasures and divine weapons. Now that the cauldron of heaven and earth was formed by his martial spirit, perhaps it would also have the same ability? Of course, Wang Feng did not think that refining alone could improve the quality. Therefore, Wang Feng threw in the other torso bone to see if it could fuse together. It would become a true 100,000-year soul bone. Refine. With a thought, the cauldron of heaven and earth started to spin crazily. The patterns on the surface of the cauldron started to float. Light exploded from the cauldron of heaven and earth. Wang Fengxian was actually a little nervous. This feeling was probably similar to when he was playing mobile games in his previous life and had 10 consecutive draws. Cauldron of heaven and earth, it's all up to you now. Don't disappoint me. If you can't fuse them together, it'll be GG. After all, these two soul bones were not simple. Especially the ice dragon whale's soul bone. It was very rare. It was almost impossible to find another one like it. The four fellows also opened their eyes wide. They had never seen such a situation before. Two soul bones fusing together? How is this possible? After a few days, Wang Feng did not even blink. The soul power in his body flowed rapidly. However, with the help of the soul crystals, Wang Feng continued to refine and fuse them together. Finally, on the 10th day, the cauldron of heaven and earth finally stopped. A scarlet light shone from the cauldron. Red represented a 100,000-year soul bone. Of course, a soul bone was different. However, Wang Feng could feel that the cauldron of heaven and earth contained an extremely powerful soul bone. It's out! Wang Feng laughed heartily. It was really exciting. No wonder so many people were not interested in the game itself. They just liked to draw. It was probably the joy of getting something out. With a thought, the soul bone in the cauldron of heaven and earth finally appeared in front of Wang Feng. It was also a torso bone. At this moment, it was emitting a purplish-red light like a breastplate. 100,000-year soul bone. Odontosuchus rubbed his sore eyes. Over 90,000 years and 100,000 years are two different concepts. They were not unfamiliar with soul bones. Seeing this scene, they were simply shocked. They could not understand it at all. How did this happen? How did the two soul bones fuse together? The four soul beasts looked at the cauldron of heaven and earth in disbelief. What kind of divine item is this? Martial soul? How is this possible? How can a human's martial soul be so powerful? Big Boss Feng is too awesome. Wang Feng took the soul bone. The purplish-red soul bone was emitting a heart-palpitating light. The fusion of the blood-winged dragon beetle and the mountain sea ice dragon whale's torso bone. What should I call it? Blood-devouring ice dragon whale's torso bone? Wang Feng stroked it gently and was a little excited. I didn't expect the cauldron of heaven and earth to have such an ability. Does this mean that I can fuse all kinds of soul bones in the future? It might not even be limited to soul bones. However, it was indeed time-consuming and consumed soul power. It might be because of the fusion of a 100,000-year soul bone. However, the more Wang Feng thought about it, the more he felt the power of the cauldron of heaven and earth. The cauldron of heaven and earth did not seem to have any enhancement to him. However, it indirectly helped him become stronger. Not only could it help him, but it could also help the soul beasts around him. By the way, I haven't tried my 5th soul skill. In the past 20 days, 10 days to absorb the soul ring, and 10 days to fuse the soul bone. Wang Feng recalled that he had almost neglected his 5th soul skill. I wonder what the soul skill of the cauldron of heaven and earth is. All of you stand still. I'm going to try my 5th soul skill. Wang Feng sensed the cauldron of heaven and earth and knew what the 5th soul skill was. However, he was shocked. This was because the soul skill of the cauldron of heaven and earth seemed to be a little strong. Qing Qing brought Shun Bing, the iron fox, and Odontosuchus to the back of the cowardly Koan. Wang Feng focused and used his soul power to drive the cauldron of heaven and earth. Suddenly, Wang Feng felt that more than half of his soul power was sucked away. Following that, the cauldron of heaven and earth spun and emitted an intense light that landed on their bodies. Almost instantly, Wang Feng felt that his soul power was gone. End of chapter. Chapter 491. Damn it, this soul skill. Wang Fengxin was shocked. He was at rank 53, and his soul power had been drained by the 5 of them? Normally, the more powerful a soul skill was, the more powerful it would be. As the light fell, all of a sudden, the 4 of them became smaller at a visible speed. Furthermore, they were degenerating. Ching Ching directly turned into an ordinary big green bird. The otaku crocodile's wings were gone. It fell with a plop and became smaller. The ice Kira was the most miserable. It was more than 10 meters tall, but it had shrunk by half. Even the cowardly Kuan had shrunk by half. The mysterious patterns on its body had also disappeared. Degeneration? Wang Feng swallowed his saliva. If it's used on a soul master, it will degenerate his martial soul. However, it won't last for long. It won't last for more than a minute. However, this was already exaggerated enough. The 5 of them let out childish cries. Evidently, they weren't used to it. It was as if an adult had been reborn into a teenager's body. After a minute, the 5 of them returned to their original state. Wow, Boss Phone, what's this move? I felt like I was breastfeeding. Odontus Sukis cried out. Wang Feng laughed and said, "This soul skill is called the divine light of heaven and earth. It can degenerate all of you. It can only last for a minute." This was a very powerful ability. Just think about it. If a ray of universal divine light landed on the clear sky hammer, would the clear sky hammer, which was known as the strongest tool spirit in the continent, still be able to unleash its full power? A soul master's soul skills were determined by their martial souls. Once the quality of their martial souls decreased, they might not be able to unleash their soul skills. It was equivalent to being sealed. Even if they were forced to unleash their power, their strength would be greatly reduced. Evidently, this soul skill was related to the cauldron of heaven and earth. It didn't have much to do with the ice dragon whale soul rings. It was probably because the cauldron of heaven and earth could refine everything. The ice-type energy absorbed from the ice dragon whale soul rings was directly refined into pure energy and absorbed. This was why the cauldron of heaven and earth didn't use the ice dragon whale soul rings to produce soul skills related to the ice dragon whale. The soul skills produced were only related to the cauldron of heaven and earth. However, it required a lot of soul power. At critical moments, it could be very useful. Divine light of heaven and earth. It seems like the cauldron of heaven and earth has given me enough surprises. Wang Feng smiled. With his current abilities, Wang Feng could kill those 2 rank 92 titled Dalu without suffering any injuries. With this divine light of heaven and earth, although it would consume a large amount of soul power and might even drain him dry, it was not a problem for Wang Feng. However, there was a problem with this soul skill. The hit rate of this soul skill wasn't 100%. When the divine light of universe was unleashed, it was possible to dodge it. If he was discovered, it would be equivalent to exhausting a huge amount of soul force for nothing. He was not invincible. Therefore, in a real battle, it still depended on how it was used. If the 2 rank 92 titled Dalu had dodged, Wang Feng would have expended more than half of his soul power, and he would have been at a disadvantage. Even if he used the Black Lotus to recover, it would still take some time. This was the same logic as the Red Lotus Hellfire. Both could be dodged. It wasn't an absolute hit. After all, no matter how powerful a move was, it had to hit its target first. For example, the Tempest Godly Spear was unleashed very quickly. Once it was unleashed, it was almost impossible to dodge. The Pango Axe was even more impressive. Once it locked onto its target, it would definitely hit. However, the few soul beasts were stunned at this moment. This was the first time they had heard of such a magical soul skill. Furthermore, the effects of the divine light of universe were not limited to this. Once it degenerated, it would be very difficult for the soul beast to adapt. If they were hit in battle, their condition would deteriorate rapidly, and they would be easily defeated. There's such a soul skill. The Thunder Spiritual Fox couldn't help but look at the cauldron of universe. This soul skill seemed to be extraordinarily strong. In fact, even among human soul masters, this soul skill was probably one of a kind, let alone soul beasts. All right, remember this. I'll refine 4 soul crystals for all of you first. On the other hand, still need to cultivate here. Wang Feng needed to condense his brain and sternum in the remaining time before absorbing the bloodthirsty ice dragon whale skeleton. His abilities had reached a peak. Hearing Wang Feng's words, the 4 of them quickly gathered all kinds of treasures in the ice cave of absolute frost. They wanted ice-type herbs, ice crystals, absolute frost stalactites, and so on. There were many of them in the ice cave of absolute frost. It took Wang Feng around 10 days to refine the materials into 4 soul crystals and give them to the 4 cultivators. It should be enough for them to cultivate for a while. As for Qing, after Wang Feng refined the ice crystals, he fused the energy of the golden lotus into the soul crystals to form a special golden soul crystal for Qing to consume. Because Qing already had some of the golden lotus abilities, using this method should be able to strengthen her to the greatest extent. This kind of golden soul crystal was not as pure as the colorless soul crystal, and was extremely troublesome to absorb. If Odanisukis and the others were to consume this kind of golden soul crystal, the absorption would be very slow. The most important thing was that it was too troublesome to form a golden soul crystal. This soul crystal was formed from all kinds of treasures in the ice cave of absolute frost. It contained an extremely pure and huge amount of energy. In order to form a golden soul crystal, Wang Feng had to constantly activate the power of the golden lotus and fuse it with the energy of the soul crystal. And depending on the concentration, the time required would vary. The golden soul crystal that Wang Feng created for Qing took him half a month to barely turn the colorless soul crystal into a pale golden soul crystal. This was even more time-consuming than refining it. After doing all this, Wang Feng did not let the 4 of them directly cultivate in the ice cave of absolute frost. Instead, he let them stay in the other 3 places in the Myriad Elephant Valley: the secluded spirit cave of absolute frost, the purple forest of absolute frost, and the azure platform of absolute frost. These 3 places were similar to the ice cave of absolute frost. The cowardly Kuan was in the secluded spirit cave of absolute frost. This was because the secluded spirit cave of absolute frost leaned towards darkness and ice. The demonic Emperor Kuan was a darkness and ice-type soul beast. From the word demon, one could tell. Not to mention, the cowardly Kuan's dark aura leaned towards darkness. The blizzard crocodile was naturally in the azure platform of absolute frost. It was a huge green platform that contained a terrifying icy wind. It was suitable for the wind and ice types, and was suitable for Odanisukis's wind-wing blizzard crocodile. Finally, the thunder spirit fox was naturally in the purple forest of absolute frost. The pure purple lightning forest was the most comfortable environment for the thunder spirit fox to cultivate in. The ice Kira was in the ice cave of absolute frost, an environment suitable for pure ice-type cultivation. It had to be said that the 4 places in the Myriad Elephant Valley were simply perfect for the 4 of them. Their luck was so good that it could explode. And Qing was even more amazing. End of chapter. Chapter 492. She was cultivating in the center of the Nature Manifestation Valley, which was also where the 4 forbidden lands intersected. This was because this special forbidden land was filled with all kinds of energy and aura. It was very suitable for Qing to cultivate. It was very magical. Perhaps it was because Qing had a part of the golden lotus, which caused her to evolve. It could also be because of her bloodline. Wang Feng guessed that the other 3 forbidden lands should have items similar to the Myriad Spirit Ice Heart. Of course, they could also be naturally formed. Wang Feng didn't plan to search these 3 forbidden lands. These 3 places were very dangerous. They weren't inferior to the spirit cave of extreme frost. In fact, they were even more dangerous. Even the ice dragon whale didn't dare to enter. Wang Feng wanted to be more cautious. Cowardly Kun, Odonisuchus, and the iron fox were all arranged by Wang Feng to cultivate at the edge of these forbidden lands. They didn't go too deep. The three of them didn't dare to go too deep. After arranging everything, Wang Feng started to temper his brain and sternum. Because Wang Feng already had experience and the soul crystal formed from the myriad spirit ice heart, as well as the fact that Wang Feng was much stronger than when he was in the ice fire yin yang well, the process of refining with the red lotus karmic fire was very fast. His sternum was the fastest. His brain was more troublesome. It took the longest time. Fortunately, he had the soul crystal to support him, as he was a little worried that the torso bone would affect the various organs and blood vessels in his sternum. Wang Feng was tempering his sternum. After tempering, he would absorb the soul bone. When Wang Feng was tempering his sternum, he could vaguely see many black spots of light disappearing from his sternum. It was a little illusory. He didn't know if it was because of his karma. The process was very painful. Fortunately, Wang Feng had already gotten used to it. This pain wasn't just physical, but also spiritual. It was much more painful than Wang Feng imagined. However, the black-banded spiritual skull was very useful at this time. It reduced the pain Wang Feng's spiritual soul was suffering. It was indeed a skull produced by the system. It had indirectly helped Wang Feng many times. The sternum wasn't just the sternum. It also contained the organs within. It was the most troublesome part of the body after the brain. Fortunately, the problem Wang Feng was worried about didn't happen. The meteoric tear in his heart wasn't burned by the red lotus karmic fire. However, after completing the tempering of his heart, Wang Feng seemed to be able to clearly perceive the situation of the meteoric tear. In other words, he could make the meteoric tear move slightly, instead of passively accepting the energy of the meteoric tear every time. The benefit was that his cultivation speed had increased by another step, although he couldn't drive the energy in the meteoric tear. Wang Feng estimated that his strength was still far from enough. If he wanted to truly use the meteoric tear, he still had a long way to go. After the various organs around the sternum were completely refined, they seemed to emit a lustrous glow through the skin. His sternum was like ivory and white jade. It took Wang Feng less than 10 days to refine his sternum. As for the brain, it took Wang Feng 15 days. The position of the brain was relatively more troublesome. During the tempering process, Wang Feng felt as if his head was no longer his own. The pain was as if countless needles were piercing his head. His mind was still in great pain. This was the most painful tempering of his entire body. If it wasn't for Wang Feng's firm willpower, he wouldn't have been able to withstand it. However, his brain didn't consume much energy from the soul crystals. On the contrary, his sternum consumed a lot of soul crystals. From afar, Wang Feng's entire body was burning with the karmic fire of the red lotus. However, since only his head was left, the area below his head was immune to the karmic fire of the red lotus. His brain was being burned and distorted in different places. Dense black spots were burning on Wang Feng's head before they were annihilated into nothingness. Because of this, Wang Feng's face slowly underwent a subtle change. He couldn't be described as handsome anymore. After Wang Feng's physique had improved, he was already very handsome. However, he had gained a kind of charm. This kind of charm seemed to be able to reach the top. It was the kind of shock one would feel when one saw nature. It made one feel as if there was such a scenery in the world. It was that kind of feeling. Wang Feng's current appearance gave people such a feeling. It was as if he had merged with the heavens and earth. It made people sigh. This world was actually like this. However, Wang Feng's face had indeed undergone a subtle change. He was definitely more handsome, but his temperament had also changed greatly. When Wang Feng opened his eyes, the energy of the heavens and earth rushed toward Wang Feng's body in a frenzy. It was as if they were trying to outdo each other, fearing that they would be too slow. I've completed the tempering. My current body seems to be quite powerful. Wang Feng took a deep breath. Closing his eyes, he seemed to be able to feel the rhythm of the heavens and earth. His perception had improved tremendously. His physique might not be much stronger, but it was full of tenacity. It was like nature, no matter how you destroyed it, it would recover. The most important thing was that the increase in cultivation speed was unimaginably fast for Wang Feng. Just by standing here, doing nothing, not even meditating, the energy of the heavens and earth gathered crazily toward his body. It was like countless disaster victims rushing to enter a new house. Very strong, taking a light breath. It was like a whale sucking in water. The energy surged. At this speed, at least before rank 90, even if Wang Feng compressed his soul power, he would still be several times faster than most soul masters. This was very terrifying. And his brain? Wang Feng felt that his brain was incomparably clear now. It was as if a stone weighing tens of thousands of kilograms had been removed from his head. Everything was very easy. Wang Feng could even recall the bits and pieces of his previous life from his birth to his transmigration. The memory was incomparably clear. It was as if he had entered an extremely mysterious state. At this moment, Wang Feng felt that his thoughts were incomparably clear. Is this the state where there is no karma in my body? Wang Feng looked at his hands. They were one. His eyes glowed and shot out rays of light. It was as if he could see through his skin and see his bones that were crystal clear like jade. His eyes seemed to have changed. They were even brighter than the real stars. Fortunately, there were no living creatures nearby. Otherwise, with just Wang Feng's current eyes, even soul beasts would be instantly attracted. After Wang Feng saw his situation through the ice mirror, he couldn't help but sigh. How can I go out and meet people like this? Do I still have to wear cosmetic contact lenses? Because it's too eye-catching. Even if I wear a mask, this pair of eyes is too alluring. Wang Feng couldn't help but say. His current body was truly the body of a pure, bright spirit god, without any impurities. Even among those cultivators, he was a 1 in 10,000 peerless cultivation genius. With this kind of body, no matter what he cultivated, there was almost no bottleneck. Any great Tao in front of him could be easily stepped on. To put in a cliché, I, Wang Feng, now have the disposition of a great emperor, right? Wang Feng couldn't help but laugh. Unfortunately, this red lotus karmic fire didn't burn my thoughts. I still like big things, I still like to act cool. End of chapter. Chapter 493. In fact, sometimes Wang Feng felt that it was quite magical. From the perspective of the red lotus karmic fire, it was actually in an extremely opposite state to the dark angel martial soul. As long as he was possessed by the dark angel martial soul, it was as if he had billions of karma on his body. Of course, it wasn't that exaggerated, because the dark angel martial soul had yet to fully evolve. It was so contradictory, but there was no conflict. Wang Feng had also tried the ability of the dark angel martial soul's first evolution. The first pair of black wings on his back seemed to have been activated and emitted an intense light that was brighter than the other 5 pairs. The first blood pattern on his body also lit up. It could release a strange aura within 100 meters of his body. It was similar to an aura, but it wasn't a domain, because it could be resisted. In this aura, all living beings would fall into a state of rage and anger. At the same time, the life force of all living beings in the aura would be crazily absorbed by his dark angel martial soul. In the end, they would die. It was a very evil ability. Even the upright Wang Feng didn't want to use it. He could only use it as a trump card. After his entire body was tempered with the red lotus, Wang Feng absorbed the torso bone. This time, he absorbed it very quickly. In less than 3 days, he succeeded. After absorbing the torso bone, Wang Feng's physical fitness improved greatly. This improvement was comprehensive. After all, it was 100,000-year soul bone. At the same time, he had 2 more soul skills. The first was a sealing-type soul skill, similar to the ice dragon whale's myriad spirit ice heart. It was a very powerful sealing soul skill that could prevent the myriad spirit ice heart from emitting energy. Wang Feng directly named it Spirit Seal. It could lock onto an opponent and freeze them. This kind of ice seal was an all-round ice seal. It could even seal one's consciousness. However, it could only seal one person. Furthermore, depending on the difference in soul power, the duration would be greatly reduced. The second soul skill complemented the first one. It was similar to the effect of blood devouring. It released countless bloodlines and crazily absorbed the soul power of the frozen enemy. The soul skill attached to the soul bone was naturally extremely strong, compared to the blood-devouring effect of the soul-devouring blood wings. It was even purer. According to Wang Feng's estimation, even a soul sage would be sucked dry in 10 seconds. However, it needed to be frozen before it could be used. It was a relatively special soul skill combo that required the Spirit Seal soul skill. After tidying up, Wang Feng had already spent 3 months in the Four Absolutes Myriad Elephant Valley. It had been a little more than 2 years. Wang Feng also officially turned 16. It's time to go to the capital of slaughter. Wang Feng sighed softly. For Wang Feng, these 2 years of bitter cultivation in the land of the extreme north was an earth-shaking change. He counted them carefully. He used his spiritual power to control objects, created his own absolute wind and thunder spear, subdued Odonasukis and the other 3, and found Ching Ching. After that, he killed the ice dragon whale and obtained a 90,000-year soul ring. Then, his 5th form, universe manifestation, obtained and refined the myriad spirit ice heart. After that, he refined the soul ring, absorbed the consciousness and soul of the ice dragon whale, evolved the abilities of the dark angel martial soul, refined the soul crystal, and fused with the soul bone. There was no doubt that he would become even more powerful. Wang Feng didn't even know how strong he was now. Wang Feng was confident that he could beat a rank 95 transcendent Douluo. However, he didn't know what was more advanced. Think, absolute god of wind and thunder, cauldron of heaven and earth, 90,000-year soul ring, myriad spirit ice heart, karmic fire body tempering, 100,000-year soul bone. How powerful could these make a person? Most importantly, the Nature Manifestation Valley was one of the 4 absolutes. It was a true treasure land. Right now, the 4 of them, plus Ching Ching, were cultivating here. They would definitely become powerful in the future. When they met again, Wang Feng knew that these 5 fellows would also undergo earth-shattering changes. If Wang Feng ranked the results of his cultivation in the past 2 years in order, then it was inevitable. It was like this: Universe Cauldron Karmic Fire Body Tempering 4 guys, 4 absolutes, Myriad Elephant Valley Myriad Spirit Ice Heart, 100,000-year soul bone, absolute wind, and thunder soul ring. Of course, it was only the results, not the cause and effect. If there was a cause and effect, if Wang Feng didn't comprehend the absolute wind and thunder soul ring, it was almost impossible for the following things to happen. Just like that, Wang Feng bid farewell to the 5 guys who were still cultivating and walked out of the extreme north. He, the newly appointed professor of soul beasts and one of the 5 overlords of the inner circle of the extreme north, left the extreme north just like that. He was going to the capital of slaughter. At the same time, in another corner of the world, Lil 3, I didn't expect you to awaken the blue-silver emperor martial soul. Tang Hao looked at Tang San, whose appearance had changed greatly in front of him, with a complicated expression. After more than 2 years, Tang San's appearance had also undergone a huge change. He had truly become a handsome man. His soul power had also reached level 52. Under Tang Hao's guidance, he had even completely learned the disorder-splitting wind hammer technique and could use 81 hammer strikes. His strength had undergone an incomparably huge change. Tang San was a little silent. He only nodded slightly. Unknowingly, more than 2 years had passed. Dad, have you heard from Bro Feng in the past 2 years? Tang San asked in a low voice. In the past 2 years, Tang Hao only taught him the direction of cultivation. Most of the time, he was cultivating by himself, and Tang Hao would come and test him later. Tang Hao's eyes narrowed slightly. He seemed to hesitate for a while, then shook his head and said, I don't want to lie to you, Lil San. In the past 2 years, I've been looking everywhere for news of that child, Lin Feng, but I haven't found any. How can that be? Tang Xin muttered. No news at all? Were there any masked, mysterious, and powerful people on the continent? If there is, then it's very likely that it's Bro Feng. Tang Hao is speechless. Lil San seems to know a lot about Lin Feng. Tang Hao could not help but sigh in his heart. He actually had such a speculation. However, it did make sense. Tang Hao could not help but think of the boy who fought against two titled Douluo in the Pontiff's palace more than 2 hours ago. Every time he thought of that, Tang Hao could not help but sigh. In fact, Tang Hao was not too sure whether Wang Feng was still alive or not. In the past 2 years, other than teaching Tang San cultivation, Tang Hao had never heard of the search for Wang Feng. He was not the only one. Many forces were secretly searching for Wang Feng. For example, the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile sect, the royal family of the Star Luo Empire, a certain family clan, and 2 people who were traveling together. However, there was really no news of Wang Feng. Very few soul masters entered the extreme north where Wang Feng lived. Even if there were, they rarely encountered Wang Feng. Moreover, after Wang Feng subdued his 4 underlings, he cultivated day and night nonstop, causing a terrifying commotion. Ordinary soul masters could sense it from afar and did not even dare to get close. How could they see Wang Feng? They only thought that some soul beasts were fighting. Many people believed that Wang Feng was still alive. However, with Wang Feng's ability, if he was still alive, it was impossible for him to be unknown. Currently, there was no news of Wang Feng in the outside world. That's not the case. Tang Hao was silent for a moment, but he still shook his head. Hearing that, Tang Xin suddenly clenched his hands tightly. I don't believe it. I don't want Bro Feng to be gone just like that. We promised to meet in 5 years. I've become so strong now, but I haven't defeated you yet. Bro Feng, you can't be gone just like that. Thought you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.